Down that I think everybody is at some point deserving to receive love and to be even into marriage if they do aspire for marriage.
I believe that society shapes how we view things and how we look at things in our life.
Make your own bed. And that's basically what Kevin Samuels is saying. His delivery is what people kind of throws people off. But basically,
aggressive or like violent, like where I think toxic masculinity is
no offense to men, that they also get this idea that, you know, women are just going to take care of them and everything is going to be like easy.
A domestic violence shelter, and he brought her up to be, you know, a $25,000.
Hell yeah, you need to judge in dating. It is what it is. You know, you can't not judge people just because you feel bad about it. Like, you need to know.
As much as I love my daughter, there are some harsh realities and some things that her mother and I teach her in order to help her to understand. And
like, I'm sure everyone knows a woman that, you know, had sex with her date all the
What's going on? What's going on? Welcome back to CKQ Podcast. I'm your host, Clement. And, you know, we're going to start out the panel like this. Yeah, switch it up. But we have our usual panelist. We have Dr. John, who doesn't have his headphones on, so you can't hear me, right?
No, I can hear you.
Okay. Yeah, I hear you.
Okay, great. Yeah, the mic got brought over to me. He did it in record time. I couldn't believe he got it set up that fast.
It's actually pretty surprising, yeah. Like, you said set it up before I started the intro. That was like...
And it was like, he went right to it. Set it up and it's working.
Got him whipped into shape. But yeah, say hi to your fans, man. What are you doing?
What's up, everybody? How y'all doing out there? You can always connect with me on behavioral _ what's my IG? Behavior _ consultant.
Behavior _ consultant, yeah.
Yeah, but you better off going to Black Wall Street Trading LLC on YouTube and leaving me a message there. I'll get it. I'm just not real big.
And we got Miss Chris.
Hi, can you hear me?
I hear you just fine.
Awesome. Yes, so you can find me on Instagram at The Blooming Ebony and here on YouTube also at The Blooming Ebony. And I think that's it. Sorry, I'm still in work mode.
But this is going to be a continual conversation that we were having previously, John. That's what it's going to be with everyone else involved.
Good.
Okay. So I think we're all in agreement that sexual education is an important thing in most schools, right? Chris?
Yes.
Okay. So the question is, in sex ed courses, should we be teaching about same sex and trans in sexual education courses?
I don't really think it's necessary, to be honest. If you're just teaching about safe sex, I think you can do that without having to bring up the idea of same sex or trans couples, you know?
But when it comes to sex, isn't the idea of the more information you have, the better it is?
What do you mean by the more information?
We're
talking about in schools, right?
What's that?
We're talking about sex education in schools,
Correct.
particularly?
Yes. So the more information, the more you're informed of different diseases, whatever happens, the better off you are, right?
Yes.
So wouldn't it make sense to teach trans and same-sex safety?
Well, I don't think any of no, I don't think any of those diseases are exclusive to those types of relationships, is what I'm trying to say. So I don't think that you'd be doing the children an injustice by leaving that out. Like, all of those diseases can still be spread whether or not it's a same-sex couple. Does that make sense?
Okay, so it doesn't really matter who you're there with, whether it's the same sex or a different sex. Safety is still safety, is what you're saying.
Yes.
Okay. John, what are we talking? Still in the middle of technical difficulties? I would take that as a yes. No.
You hear me?
Now I hear you. You don't hear me? Yeah, I guess he doesn't.
I can hear you.
You hear? Chris,
Yes.
I heard Oregon. Oregon?
Yeah.
Oregon. Okay.
There we go.
Was crazy liberal.
The urban areas, yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So how did you come out of there?
How did I what? Sorry.
How did you make it out of, liberal Oregon without having blue hair or pink hair? Unless you had before.
Never in my life. Never will. Hopefully. Unless it's a disease that's just airborne. And
That just turns your hair pink. Yeah. It's a pretty bad one out here. We call it feminism.
I do more listening than I do talking. That gets me through. I think if I was more open with my opinions, it would be very hard to make it in different environments. It would be really hard to have certain friends and work, because little things, they're really sensitive here. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Do they try to, I guess, force the trans rhetoric there as well?
Yeah, I had a friend try and convince me that men can get pregnant.
That was
And
a
I
serious
felt myself
conversation.
die. Yes. I was saying how I want to open up a girls' school that basically mixed, professional skills with wifely duties. And she basically asked about inclusivity. And I was like, well, if, they can get pregnant, they want to be parents someday, then they're invited if they can afford it.
We should have stopped the conversation to any regular thinking person.
Yeah.
I'm impressed.
She was being serious.
Oh, yeah. She was.
Yes, like very, very serious. So basically I brought that up. I was like, well, if they want kids someday, then and they can afford it, of course. And then she was like, well, what about people that are trans? And I said, well, if they look like a woman, where hijabi women feel comfortable not wearing the hijabs around them, and I don't know, then I'm sure, like, if they can afford it, of course, right? And she was like, well, you do know that. She's like, what about men or women that have transitioned to men? And I was like, no. She's like, well, men can get pregnant too.
Oh,
and yes,
and
it was a downward spiral. And that's why I just kind of stopped talking. I was done. I had a mini heart attack.
The little piece of you died.
Yes.
I'm trying to find this video that someone sent to me. I want to show you guys.
Can you hear us now, John?
Yeah, I can hear you. Hey, Chris, how you doing, sweet pea?
Hi. Happy Tuesday.
Happy
Tuesday.
Tuesday. Norbit.
CKQ Day.
CKQ Day. I got a whole day for myself, guys. You guys really warm my heart, my ice cold heart. Thank you.
Hey, but I didn't hear Chris when she answered that question about the sex ed. What'd she say?
She said she's all for it, that it should be taught in the classes.
Sex ed?
Yeah. She said she preferred if they taught same sex,
Well, yeah. The
relation.
nation talked about everything that come along with it and stop trying to promote it, using it as a platform to encourage it. Because they don't talk about the thing. They don't talk about the number of. Do they talk about how homosexuals account for the 78% spike in HIV transmission? Did they talk about that? Or did they talk about diverticulitis that's prevalent among homosexual men because they had engaged in anal sex? I mean, the anus is not a sex orifice. It's not for sex. That's not what it was there for. You turned it into that, and you take those associated risks.
Isn't there a pleasure spot in there though? Isn't there a G spot in the anus?
Yeah, it's called. Well, homosexual men say that the prostate massage can produce an orgasm.
Was that your son in the background? I heard someone go, ugh.
That's him. He just said yuck. He said, ugh. Yeah. So, but if you're not talking like that, because typically one of those classes will go with all this. We're going to talk about some very.
Oh shit!
We're going to talk about some very adult things today, and we're going to talk about the sex in our bodies, and just want you to know if you are same sex, and it's perfectly okay, and we're going to discuss that. See, them the parts right there. I don't agree. That's when you lose me.
What do you mean?
That's when you lose me, bro.
So sex ed classes
it in a way that is not enticing. Do you understand what I'm telling you?
What do you mean?
Where it's not like when you get a kid who think in one way, and then you're encouraging this other behavior. Like, well, it's cool too. Like, that's fine. Like, you using stuff like you don't have to say that's fine. You don't have to say none of that. Just get into the meat and potatoes. Let's talk about how babies are made. Let's talk about the penis. Let's talk about the vagina. The least bit of the conversation should be about a trans anything. Other than you can talk about you can say the genetics part for a science teacher. We're talking about sex. That's it. Sex.
Talking about what?
Sex.
Could I get a visual depiction of that again?
Sex. See how that works? Sex.
Okay.
Vagina, penis, sex. Not strap on. Vagina, penis, but blood flowing through it. Has a spongium right there. Has a glans penis called a head. All right? That's what I'm talking about.
Well, all right, so I'm just gonna play devil's advocate. So what about those parents, all right, that are a little soft, that are gonna come and say, oh, but my kid feels this way, and I want them to be learning about everything that they might be experiencing.
Well, this would never happen, but if I was the administrator over that school,
Okay.
Yeah, but can you be more detailed about your child?
Well,
because if it's something that affects your child or a very small minute of the population, we're going to teach. We have to teach to the masses, not to just one individual child. So there's something you're more than welcome to discuss, and I can get you as much literature as possible. But that's something that should be a one-on-one conversation with the parent and the child, not taught to everyone else's child. Because just like you have concerns, the majority of my class may have the same concerns in a different direction. You understand what I mean?
Hey, what's up, man?
It sounds like you're excluding my child, sir. But to the people in the chat, Elijah, Yella, Arshan, shout out to you guys, bro. Appreciate you guys being here, watching, showing some love. Salute to you guys. Salute to you guys. If you're watching on YouTube, I do have the link to the channel up in the top of the chat. So if you have time and you want to join the conversation, come on up. Today, we are talking about sex ed and whether same-sex, trans, a lot of really LGBT talking points should be taught in sex education classes, if there's any kind of importance of that. Because all this really stemmed from a conversation the doctor and I were having about how transgenders were in classrooms reading to kids and how that really didn't have any kind of importance, right?
Yeah, none. What was the whole relevance of that?
Why is that though? Like, how did we get here? Let's do a quick rundown. How did we get to where we are right now? That we have transgenders coming into classroom and teaching our kids, kind of influencing a lot of the children.
Yeah, and passing along rhetoric and propagandizing their talking points that are really have nothing to do with the child, like at all, have nothing to do with the child. So even back, let's go back before the civil rights movement, right around the civil rights movement, when you had the big
Wait, what? They had to shut down a public library drag queen session in my city for kids.
Outstanding. And you just and other cities need to follow, because there's no point in someone who is delusional reading to your kids. There's no point. There's no point. It's just like having a person that's schizophrenic and delusional being a clinician and treating other people with mental illnesses. What the hell?
Okay, so John, since you're a lot more of the science based on this, give the audience a little bit of I would say an educated background and an educated lesson for the people that aren't, I guess, how we get to this point in someone's mind, in someone's psyche, where they get to.
Let's talk about let's dispel some things first, and then I'll bring it back full circle. When you go to look at things like homosexuality, that is something that is not, you're not born that way. There's no gene that codes for homosexuality, not precursor gene or gene period. The twin studies have dispelled the false narrative that was pushed by a homosexual researcher about 15, 20 years ago. But it was that research, which was redacted, that gave the LGBT community a leg up to get a lot of legislation passed. And then once it was passed, then here we are. Back in the 70s or early 80s, they depathologized homosexuality, even though other countries did not. China did not. China was one of the countries that the books that they use. We currently use DSM-5, but China left it in their version of the DSM-5 and said it was in fact a mental disorder. It was under sexual deviant behavior. All right, but so it was all done. Everything was done strategically. It wasn't first. We have to recategorize things. So the next on the list was to remove gender identity disorder and replace it with gender dysmorphia. See, gender dysmorphia is something that's very subjective, centered only around how you feel, only around your feelings. It's not really centered around anything else. It's not really centered around something that's measurable. So once we got past that, once we moved everything along, there's some type of it gives the perception that we have empirical support, even though the research is not saying anything like this. It looks like we have empirical support. So now a doctor that's on the home team can actually go and diagnose a child with gender dysphoria, and you start creating these little trans kids running around here that you can't prove that this child thinks that they are a girl. You can't tell where that came from. You don't know. I'm not saying the child don't think that they're a girl. They could very well, but there's a lot of other environmental factors that you have to consider. So I pose a question like this: if you were raped as a child, little boy, right, and you as a 7-year-old, 8-year-old little boy, you think you're going to develop the same way a person is that never happened to? You think you're going to see the world the same way? No, you're not. Let me just end the question. No, you're not going to see the world the same way. You're going to feel negative effect. You're going to feel like you don't measure up with other little boys. You're going to contemplate being gay. Most times when a child has been molested, they are aversive to the opposite sex. They become aversive to the opposite sex. You understand? And it goes back into Thorndike's theory on cause and effect. If the outcome of the behavior is terrible, this behavior will most likely not happen again. If the outcome was pleasurable, then the behavior will likely go ahead and happen again. So that's what the aversion is. This person took the most purest thing away from you without your consent. So now you're questioning who you are. So doesn't it make sense for a person who this has happened to? Where do you think multiple personalities, which is known as dissociative identity disorder, where you dissociate, 96% of the time it comes from sexual molestation as a child sexual abuse, right? You dissociate. So there's multiple ways you can dissociate. You can dissociate and deny your sex. You can dissociate and from the person you are and take on an identity of a stronger person. I've met in clinicals, I met one person who had two identities. The blood pressure, she had a voice of a 40-plus-year-old woman, and she had a voice of a 40-plus-year-old woman. The voice's name was Rachel. Southern. This girl was from California. Did not have a Southern accent, but her alter ego did. The blood pressures were different. This girl was 24 years old.
Wow, so it literally changed her entire blood pressure and everything.
Yeah, yes. Even the brain, even if you did a functional MRI, it would be different.
That's impressive.
Identity disorder is a proven thing. It's not up for theory. This is not theory. These are facts. Her blood pressure, this girl exercised every day. When she was herself, who's because of HIP, I can't name her name, not even her first name. But I can tell you the alter ego because that's not who she really is. So the alter ego was Rachel. Rachel's blood pressure would be around 140/90-ish. The client's pressure would typically be at 117/76.
Wow.
And the only time that alter ego would come out was when men tried to tell her something. If a male gave her any type of direction, they would. Now, she and I got close. She would trust me, but it took almost a year of me being there. That's how I'm a man. So that's how I met. That's who I found out who Rachel was. Rachel ended up cussing me out. Okay. Rachel cussed me all the way out. You hear me? But then after a year, I found out that her dad molested her when she was a child.
Damn.
And she's been treated for schizophrenia this whole time. And she actually was diagnosed. When I told the psychiatrist of my findings, they tried to blow me off at first. So I videotaped everything, and they changed her diagnosis to dissociative identity disorder.
DID. You know, I actually went through a little phase where I was watching a lot of those. There's a channel that has a lot of DID, not has a lot of DID. It has someone with DID with about 7 different personalities.
Mm-hmm.
Like they've been on shows before for it, and they talked about how their experience when they first started experiencing this, they have no idea what was happening. Mm-hmm. They would just randomly wake up in different spots, and they'd be in different complete clothing, and they have no idea what's going on.
Mm-hmm.
Or sometimes they'd go days, and then one day they just wake up and they're like, how am I even here? What happened?
Mm-hmm.
They have no idea what happened the last couple of days. So, I mean, it's
a thing. And those people, the one thing that they had in common was sexual molestation or some type of childhood sexual trauma. I mean, it's, during the time I was in my clinicals, I probably worked with 185 either homosexual or trans, and 96% of them in the initial interview stated that they had been touched as a child. One of them was forced by an older cousin to give him oral sex daily. What? And this one will only have sex orally with another man. And she thinks she's trans. She says she's trans. Period. That's her favorite thing to do. But she never transitioned, fully transitioned. She's not a post-op or anything like that. But denies being a boy, a man. Why? Because she was emasculated. She was emasculated as a child. So no, she has dissociated with that sex. But see, no one wants to talk about this. I'm not the only person who knows this. It's fucking all the psychologists know this. They scared to death to say anything because the license will get pulled. They scared to death.
Don't you think that's a valid fear, though? That's their livelihood, right?
Yeah, the fear for them is valid. Okay, but you might need to change your ways, or you might need to. There's other ways that psychologists can band together and address an issue. It's called an amicus brief. You learn about this in undergraduate. You prepare an amicus brief. You put all your talking points in there. You put the research that backs you up, and you present it to the Supreme Court. And a clinician will have more power than an organization, especially when it's a group of them agreeing.
I think that's where, the title says, Title IX will probably start creeping its head in. But, because I know you're going to have a rebuttal for that. So, but.
Yeah.
Unique. How you doing?
What's up, people? How
Chilling,
y'all doing? How y'all doing this evening?
Fantastic. How about you? Shots KQ podcast.
I'm just hungry.
Oh, again, let's oh, okay. Shout out
I've
to
been
you,
on a
man.
special diet for the past 2 weeks. I got one more day.
How's it doing? How's it going, sis? Is it doing good?
That's how I'm doing. I'm hungry.
You hungry? You
sounds like a diet.
I'm hangry.
But Unique, sex ed classes should teach LGBTQ lessons. What do you think?
Hell to the mother effing no. What? Lost your damn mind. That's crazy. And the craziness is that I'll have some people who are gay in my life. I don't know any trans, but I have 2 of them that I'm really close to. But no. I still would say no. That doesn't change my love for them, but I still would say no.
Do you find they go through anything different than a regular heterosexual couple?
No. Especially since I know, I've known these 2 for years. So they don't, to me, it's not any different. They still go through trust issues, loyalty issues, cheating issues, whatever. They still go through the same thing. I don't think that's a difference in that. I'm just saying that these people need to know that there's other factors on why all of a sudden we having so many people saying, okay, I'm bi, I'm bisexual, I'm gay. It's a reason. It's a culmination of a lot of things of why that is. And now we're pushing, now not we, but now, governments is pushing that. They
like the Roman
They're trying to depopulate. They're trying to reduce the population. We got too many people on this land. They like, these are useless eaters. So
you think they're trying to depopulate by changing the sexual orientation of people or our children?
The only way to have children, well, I mean, there's science, but the regular way to have children is for a man and woman to have sex. I mean, that's the normal, natural way. So if you make everybody gay, then they're gonna have to go to science to try to have children. You know what I'm saying? So it's kind of like, I think that's one agenda. And I think that, there's other studies that I've known about, like in California, it's this river that's right next to where 90% of our vegetables are grown. And it was a student, I think it was a student or maybe a doctor or a class from California, and they actually took like some of the water from over there, like the running water. Okay. And some of the frogs, even though I know some frogs will turn a different, that's what my friend told me, some frogs will turn a different sex if it's like a lot of males, then one of those males might turn to a female. But some
fish do that too.
Who?
Yeah, some fish. There's a specific.
But this wasn't that. This was feeding them this certain chemical that's in our foods, the runoff, and a lot of them were turning because of it. This wasn't like, we have a whole bunch of males and we just need a female. This was that, I forgot the name of it. I forgot the name of that specific chemical that was turning them to the different sex. And there's a lot of that chemical found in our foods. So it's chemical, they fighting it. It's pushing the agenda, they fighting it, trying to make us, depopulate. I believe.
So you think all this is because my thought process was all this is being done for the sake of inclusion. I don't think it's depopularization. I think it's trying to make everyone feel included, even the most minute group, even the smallest group needs to feel included in any possible way.
But the way that they making it seem is like everybody is going, everybody they got a little bit of something in them, something. So, they either buy or they may not be all the way, or it just seems like it's a lot of people accepting this.
Hold on. Shout out to LJZ in the chat. That was one of my day ones. One of my OGs, The first original panel. He was on there. Yeah, he's actually in the intro.
Hey, LJ.
Yeah. It's a cool guy.
LJZ. Okay.
Right.
I think the whole big, the overall, like the macro of it all is depopulation. Now, there may be little things like you saying, it's like to maybe make them included, feel them included, and that's, on a smaller level. But I think the grand level is to depopulate us. Because if everybody wants the same gender, how can we continue to have children? So, I mean, science can help us, like I said, but I don't know. I wanted to. I was hesitant about joining this because I have people in my life like this. I have people in my life that are gay.
Is that unique? I was just over at her house.
Yeah,
we just had dinner. She didn't tell me all this.
I have a best friend, and I love her, and I know, it's
gonna be an awkward dinner.
She's that way, and it's because of what John said. She had trauma, sexual trauma when she was young. Same thing with the guy. He has sexual. You know what? Let me not say that. I don't know. I don't know if he has sexual trauma.
More than likely.
He never told me, so I don't know. I can't say that his was, but the female that I'm close to, definitely hers was sexual trauma. At an early age. She tried to pass it off sometimes and say, no, when I was probably like 8, 9, 10 years old, I felt that way. And I was like, every little girl feels love towards another little girl when you're 8 years old.
Yeah. You have no idea what it is. You feel attraction towards this person. You can't differentiate whether
you go through some kids go through different stages to where they may be exploring and not necessarily, know what's going on, but they in an environment where somebody is like, okay, and let's find out what's going on. But they not necessarily grow up and say that's what I want, growing up. But there are things and issues because okay, how can I explain this?
Talk to me
without putting other people on blast. When you young,
you talk about me.
Young, and it's a whole bunch of kids together. You're gonna explore, whether it's a boy, whether it's a girl. My mother told me I was a daycare and I got in trouble because I don't even remember this. It was a young boy and I was trying to see what was going on. I wanted to see what it was because I ain't never seen no boy stuff. So I opened, tell him to pull his pants up. I want to see it. I got in trouble. So it's just exploration when you're young.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I don't
Curiosity. Especially because it's one of those things that you're not supposed to be talking about, you're not supposed to see. You always have it hidden. You always have it under clothes. So that's fair.
I didn't ever do it again, but at that place, I ain't never do it again.
Wow.
But you hang with your friends when you young. Not to say I had sex late, for real. I was like 19. Most of my friends was having sex way 12. Younger than that.
12.
So yeah, I waited till after high school. 2 years after high school. But I was just
Yeah.
I swear to God, I can even tell you his name. Okay, and I ain't ashamed of it. 19 years old. And the only reason why is because my mother has a very strong hold, that Catholic thing. I was raised Catholic, so she got that very strong hold on me.
You think that helped?
I was the only child.
You think that helped?
I think it helped to scare me. So that's what she was trying to do. She was trying to scare me into not going to hell, so you don't do that. But unless you marry, so That's something that married people do. Unless you marry, if you do that, you're gonna go to hell. You know. So.
Oh, she just scared you. Yeah, okay, that's fair enough. Then she just scared you.
So,
She
yeah,
scared you,
me.
completely scared you away from it.
Yes. So yeah, even and then as you grow up, you meet people in your life, and they, you know, you. I think meeting this guy at 9th grade, you know, when I first got into high school, really helped me to stay on track as well. Not to mention my stepfather was a security guard at my high school. But that was another.
That would do it. Yeah, you had odds all over.
Yeah. So I think it's just natural exploration, and we turn it into something bigger than it is when it comes to little kids a lot. And then if they see that, they're gonna focus on it and say, okay, that's what I am. Some kids think they dogs when they 3 and 4 years old. You're gonna tell them, yeah, you a dog. We're gonna change you into a dog when you grow up because that's what you want to be. That's what you feel like. Really? You're there for guidance. That's what the parent is there for. You're there for guidance. Now, when they get older and 18 and if they decide that, then they decide that. But you're supposed to teach them. It's this book called The Kabbalion that teaches people about gender and balance. You need a balance. You need a yin. You need a yang. When you have 2 yings, shit is not fitting. You know, 2 yang, stuff not fitting. So I think it has to be a balance between 2. And you have, I don't know. I'm not against them and I love them, like I said, but promoting it to my children is where I draw the line. You can do whatever you want. Don't promote stuff to my children. That's
what about, because I was recently this past weekend, a friend of mine, brother, his girlfriend, I'm not too sure what they were, but we were having a conversation and she was saying how sometimes we had the single parent conversation versus having a 2-parent household, and she was very much, sometimes it's better to have a single parent. That's why this conversation kept happening. She's saying sometimes it's better to have a single parent that is, going to raise the kid with love and everything like that than 2 parents that are toxic or arguing. And she said, and I said, no, sometimes, most of the time, it's better to just have a man and a woman raising a child. And then that's where she came back with that. It doesn't always have to be a man and a woman. Sometimes it can be the 2 of the same sex. So what are your thoughts on that?
Balance.
You to come in just to shake his head. Man turned on his camera just to shake his head. And that was my whole point. That's what I was.
Let him talk. What you said? That was your whole point. What?
Go ahead, Clement.
Sorry.
That's what I was really going after. That was my whole point. Like, children need to see a man and a woman interact with each other to kind of know what their role is in the world. Like, if you're only seeing one parent, it's like that's why young boys nowadays, like, they grow up, especially with a single mother, grow up expecting any woman that they date to just take care of them, because that's what they're used to seeing. Versus if they saw the opposite side, where the mother was working hand in hand, just playing her role with a man, he would know how he's supposed to move, because he'd have kids watch the parent and just do exactly as a parent does. I think it was John that was telling me this a while back, where they did a study where a cat had its litter, and one day it got hit by a car and lost the use of its back legs. So it wasn't able to actually walk, but just, its legs were dragging, but just the front 2 legs were the only thing able to walk. The kittens that were perfectly able to walk only walked with their front 2, just because that's how they always saw the mother move. So they never actually developed their back legs. They just walked with the front 2 because they just watched it and they just did it.
Wow.
But yeah, okay. I digress though. Continue. I think John was going to say something, right?
All right, yeah.
All right, so I got a little bit of experience with this. Okay. My son was raised in a lesbian couple relationship. Two things I want to point out. One, they found out real fast that they can't do it. It don't work.
They can't teach a boy to be a boy?
Nope, neither one of them. Even though this one done pretended like she a boy, don't know how to throw a football properly, don't know how to just, and he ain't connecting with her. He don't even like her. You understand? But even before then, he behaved very feminine because it was only one thing that he was watching. Only one thing.
Even though the other one didn't behave feminine?
She is behaving feminine. I don't care.
I thought she was behaving like a. Oh, okay.
She tried to act like a dude, but you
That's
can
what I'm saying.
yeah, but you acting. At some point, your ass gonna come out of character and get back to who the fuck you really were born to be. And
There's subconscious things that happen that
think
you
about it. Every month when you bleeding, you get back in your goddamn femininity. It reminds you that you are a woman. You're reminded. You're reminded, right? And she can only play pretend for so long before her natural shit come in. And when he came up here, there was a noticeable difference between the two of them. My boy, who was raised by me and his mom, right? My oldest son, well, no, he's the oldest. So my baby boy, who was raised by me and his mom, he acted just like a damn 12. You expect a 12-year-old boy to act. He didn't have no kind of quality. His shoulders, he stand with his shoulders back. His head was always up. He wasn't shy away from nothing. He was confident. You can tell that he hadn't been abused or anything like that. But then my other son, shoulders more slumped forward, not real sure of himself, behaved real feminine. I even watched the way he lay down. He lay down just like a girl would, with his legs crossed over everything.
Laying down.
You know how a woman lay on her stomach and have her legs crossed like the figure four and rock her damn foot? Don't fucking man lay like that, man. Don't fucking lay like that. Well, I don't know no dude that lay like that.
He's writing in his diary, man.
Up in the
He's
air.
just writing in his diary.
Lay on his stomach. That's not a particular boy, girl.
Man, listen, man.
Lay on his
Been there
We
twirling
do
his hair.
not lay like that. I've never seen a fucking man lay like that, and I was in the military surrounded by men who went to bed.
Not
They
a
didn't
man,
lay like
not a
that.
boy.
I don't care. Little boys don't lay. I raised 3 of them, and he was the only fucking one that laid like that. Him and his brothers, they lay with their they lay on their stomach with their fucking legs straight out. Period. Or they on their back with their fucking hands down in the underwear. That's what they laying up there like this. A fucking man lay like that, bro.
My husband got to tell my son to stop touching it. Okay.
Okay, good.
He always putting his hands. Always
hands down the sweatpants.
I said, you know what? I gotta fix my baby. My damn broke my goddamn baby. I gotta fix it. So now he looked just like his brothers. Shoulders to roll back, full of confidence. So he talks. He don't walk around with his head down. Any of that. He act just like a 12-year-old boy should act.
How quickly did he take a hold of it?
Shit, he was wanting it the whole time because he could see the difference between him and his other brother. He was actually scared of his brother. And they just saying he older than he is. It happened fast, about 2 weeks, 2 or 3 weeks.
Okay, so that's what I was trying to say. It's like,
But
was there a point where he was apprehensive to it? Was there a point where he was apprehensive to it?
Very first day, he didn't know what to think. I went off on him. He started crying, and his brother started laughing at him because he was like, "What are you doing?" He would always come up with an excuse for something, but anything that made him feel like he was a victim, he would always try to use the victim mentality, right? Pretty much how a female would do that. They will try to play the emotional role on you.
Are you saying women don't take accountability, John?
Yeah. Women ain't finna be accountable. They ain't gonna admit when they're wrong. Most women will not admit when they're wrong. Period.
Majority.
Not gonna
Damn near all. Damn near all.
Will not admit when they are wrong. They may they make like if you demand an apology, this is what you'll get. I'm sorry. That's that. That's the end of it. You go into why you sorry. Hey, look, nigga, I said I'm sorry, but let that shit go. And that's what you're gonna get back in response.
That's very true.
Yeah.
Unique.
And then we just take it.
That, Unique?
I'm just happy to get the fucking I'm sorry.
You don't believe that?
Unique, you gotta date more women so you can get this experience.
I don't know how. I don't date women. And the women
you see where I'm going with this? You don't believe it because the situation ain't came up. But seeing how me and Clement are both heterosexual men who date women,
okay, all right, whatever.
Well, no, I'm genuinely curious. Do you you don't see situations where women clearly did something wrong and they don't own up to it?
Oh yeah, I see situations like that. But I ain't gonna say 90%.
Shit.
Yeah, of course.
89.9.
I've seen men be wrong and not admit it. I've seen men do that too.
I think
they probably were right and they ain't admitting it because they know they're right. And if they do say I'm sorry, they just doing it so you can get some
Can't say every man is right.
I'm not saying that. But if what you witnessed, the man was probably right and it just wasn't coming off of it.
Man. I know some men
come off of that shit.
It's just not gonna admit that they did something wrong. They just gonna do something different or something to make it better instead of admitting they wrong. Like, okay, well, she really want me to do this. Let me do this. Instead of saying I'm wrong, I'll do something to make her feel better. Or I'll buy something for her to make her
I
feel
will
better.
apologize if I'm wrong. I will. I'll apologize. I just won't fucking admit when I'm lost. I'll take that one to the grave.
Men never admit if they lost.
My
stepdad would never admit he was lost.
See, hey, look, to me, that never made any sense.
And I'll be like this, Clement. I'm just getting something to drink. You want some juice? I'll get you some juice. You want some juice? Give this. Hey man, I'm lost like a motherfucker.
See,
I'm looking for this,
that's me. That's me.
I cannot find it. When you go and turn up, wait, let me write this down on my phone.
Stop waving your hand up in the air. You give
put the damn hands down. Don't wave your hands too much. Don't do that. She can see you.
They made GPS for y'all men.
And then if it's a dude, they be like, "Oh, she in the car with you?" Yeah. Oh, okay. Listen. Then he lean over like y'all buying drugs and selling drugs. What you gonna do? You gonna turn right at the very next street, all right, brother? Yeah, I won't admit that. I'll admit when I'm wrong and say, hey, I'm sorry. Hell, I done came on here and was like, hey, I was wrong about this. And I want to set the record straight. Blah, 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 blah. Period. I don't have no problem with that. It's just me being lost. Nigga, I'm not finna admit that shit. That's not gonna happen. Because I don't want you looking at me like I'm incompetent. I want you to keep looking at me in no minds that, hey, he know where he going. He got this. I don't want you to look at me like I'm incompetent or shit. So I ain't gonna admit when I'm lost.
Okay.
So far, I haven't had to.
I've seen it on both sides because I mean, right now I'm Gen X, but a lot of the millennials are more emotional.
What?
And the
what you just said about me?
After that.
What you said about me?
Oh, I'm sorry. I forgot you're a millennial.
I'm playing.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm old.
No, but continue. I agree with you though.
Yeah, I mean nowadays a lot of them are very emotional and soft and don't really, I feel bad for my goddaughters. I got two goddaughters. One about to graduate from college with honors in her math degree. My girl, she graduate next month. Mm-hmm. And then the other one just, she's 2 years behind, or 3 years behind, I think. And she just started. And I'm looking at the guys when I went to pick her up from the dorms, the younger one, and I'm looking at the guys. Like, this is what they had to choose from. All of them pants are skinny jeans with it hanging off their butt. And they basically talking to each other rather than talking to the females. Females are sitting on that side, boys on this side way more loud and emotional, like way more doing stuff than the girls. And I'm just like,
because they teach that fucking LGBT shit in school. That's why.
Man,
they got that class.
The youngest one almost dropped out because she's really a religious little girl, and she is going to break what she said. She's going to break the generational curse of having sex early and having babies early. So when she sees young people her age doing that, it disturbs her. So I just feel sorry. I just feel sorry because the millennials now, and then the millennials who raise the next one that's coming up. Oh my goodness,
I was gonna say you better worry about your baby girl. She ain't gonna have nothing to choose from now. I mean, nothing to choose from.
Oh my goodness, I'm gonna teach her to at least ask her brother or her dad about the guy before you let them vet the guy first. Because
make sure he a fucking guy.
Yeah.
Make sure he a guy. Birth certificate. You had any major surgeries, nigga, in the last 10 or 15 years? Matter of fact, how old are you?
Let me see your baby picture.
Yeah,
you got some baby pictures?
Years. Have you had any major fucking surgery?
Listen, honestly, you're not even gonna need to ask all that, because if he tells you, "Hello, Mr. Rencher, my name is Clement. My pronouns are," the second you hear that part, you already know. Like, all right.
Oh, I'm be like, get out. What? Or you in my house and I'll discriminate against whoever the fuck I want and get the fuck out. Get out.
I forgot to close the door.
That bullshit around us.
Uh-oh, I'm in trouble. Sorry.
A lot happened in there. I did want to comment on the population thing. I think that's a possibility, but I also have this thought that it's part of it is for voting. Like one thing that I've learned when you look at different peaks, different points in history where certain people came to power. Mm-hmm. One way they came to power is by giving people just enough to make them happy, and then it created this sense of loyalty, right? So they're going to continue to vote for you. So they did that with Black people when they passed the Civil Rights Act. Black people continue to vote Democrat after that because it created this sense of, oh, you are here for me, right? Mm-hmm. And there's a video of him supposedly making that comment saying, oh, they're going to vote for us forever, right? And
funny.
then
I think Yannick just sent me that same video.
Lyndon B. Johnson saying that. Yeah.
No, it was I guess not Lyndon B. Johnson. So I guess it was a different time, but Biden was actually the one that said it.
Oh yes, Biden said it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So it just gives
and people still vote.
1994 crime bill.
Yeah. But then Obama did it with gays. What was that? 2012. And part of it was because. Yeah, part was because they wanted to vote. This was a new voting population, and now they're teaching about this more because they want people to consider it. Because if you can consider it and you join this group, you're going to end up most likely voting this particular way. They do this with them. They do it with immigrants, right? They want to speed up the process to get voting rights, and they do that partially because they know that if they give these people rights to vote, give them what they are looking for. If they seem favorable, they can get these people to vote for them. And not only them, the parents are going to get the kids because the parents are going to teach the kids to vote this way, and they're going to have them for generations to come, right? So I think that's part of the strategy is if you convince people to think a certain way and you limit access to information where they don't know other options, better options exist, they're going to stick to that, right? If you don't teach someone, that's why I'm very weird about censorship and access to information, because, I believe that you can keep a slave if they never learn of freedom. I believe in that wholeheartedly. If they don't know that being that raising children in a household where there's a strong masculine and a strong feminine figure will make them extremely powerful, make their communities powerful. They're not gonna tell people to do that, right? And most of the time, the more money you make, which people who are married typically earn more than people who aren't, right? And the more money you make, you typically don't vote the same. There's like a point in your earnings where you literally kind of rethink how you vote because you have more to lose. And typically they end up becoming more conservative the richer they get, even though we see the opposite in the media. But the more people earn, typically the more conservative they get because they don't want to give all their money to the government, right? They worked hard for it. And so there are so many layers to it. But part of it, I think, is they want the votes. And they honestly, I think they understand that if you keep people single and alone and partially hopeless and dependent, they're going to keep voting in more laws that keep them reliant on the government because they don't have anything else to fall back on.
Yep. Look at the first executive order that Biden fucking signed. It wasn't for anything to do with the economy. When no contact it was to let fucking boys who failed at being boys failed. I said it. They failed at being boys and were non-competitive. No, his first one was that they can compete in fucking sports. And anybody
emotional damage.
I thought it was letting trans people in the military. I thought that was the first.
That happened a while ago.
It was a while ago.
Oh, okay.
The first one was allowing them to fucking compete and saying that if you receive Title IX funding and you went against this, you would be defunded.
Dang.
Yeah. That created a lot of fucking problems.
Does anybody? Can I ask a question real quick? Does anybody know about what's the guy? Bill Gates, right? He, left the IT stuff and he's doing this little thing about vaccines and all that. But do y'all know that he owned about 75% of the farms in the United States? Mm-hmm. It's crazy because he left IT to own farms. And it's kind of like, and then he's spreading the vaccine to where the reports came back with all this, stuff going on in Ukraine and all this other stuff. But the reports came back about the amount of people who died, or the percentages of people who died in Europe. 92% of them had the hokey. I gotta call it hokey. I don't want you to get shadow banned. 92% of them had the hokey in Europe that died this last year. Like they just had a report come out. Like they having all these reports come out about the hokey, what's in it, and all that. But we all focused on Ukraine, and then now we on Will, and then nobody's talking about all these reports about the hokey. But anyway, I digress. But that's why I feel it's about depopulation, because that will diseases will get rid of us. People wanting the same gender will get rid of us. It will depopulate the whole world.
I mean, he was.
Yeah, birth is down.
Gates was actually talking.
You do know that, right? Like childbirth is down
drastically.
It's at an all-time low in the history.
Isn't the replacement rate 3 children per household, but people are having like 1 or less?
Yeah.
Is that what it is?
Yeah. Yeah, that's right. That's about right.
Wow.
Except for the Pookies. They had like 18.
Shout out to all the Pookies.
That's why
the guy that was on my show, he got 12.
Bro, listen, we ain't trying to hear all that shit, nigga. We gonna get ours. And we ain't go. Here's 3 things. The reason you can't fuck with black people on that note, nigga. We ain't going to no doctor. You're gonna have to wait till we die. And the bad thing is, a lot of black people, despite not going to the doctor, have long fucking lifelines. we fucking, period. And we reproducing, period. That's gonna happen. So if you're trying to do it that way, nigga, it's not gonna happen. It's just not gonna happen like that. Because you ain't finna have opportunity to stick that shit in me. You not. Only one way. and that's if you putting it in the real cheap foods that people buy. Like, cause you gotta understand, all this shit can be tracked. Like, this don't have to be a conspiracy theory thing. What Yannick talking about? Like, all this data can be fucking tracked, bro. Like, we can tell that the government, if they wanted to, could pull a report as to every household has EBT, right? Which is food allowance. Okay, of that population, how many are black? Which ones are black? Isolate that group. Okay, and what areas do they live in? Okay, such and such, Bill Gates, with your farm, start injecting that shit and then distribute that shit to these stores and these neighborhoods, because this is where this card is used most frequently. So you can track distribution, you can know how to distribute it, how much to distribute it. Nigga, you can even know how much this motherfucker is buying at that store, bro. Why you think they catch people with food stamp fraud so fucking easy? You think they got cameras watching you everywhere you go? Nah, nigga, it's a computer. The shit is electronic. The data can be tracked and counted and measured. It can be quantified, in other words. The fuck? Don't be stupid. And then when you want to get targeted, you can get targeted.
We lived before we moved here, we lived in an all-white dominant area. There's probably only one other black family on there, and they actually bought their house. We only lived in that white area because we were taking care of disabled people. We wouldn't be able to afford to live in that area. So the black person that was living in that area, number one, they were Caribbean. They were from Jamaica. And it was probably the only other black person on that block. We go to the stores, the children eat the cereal, they fine. We come here in a predominantly black area and buy cereal, same cereal. The children hate it. They like it tastes funny. Same thing, same kind, same brand name. It tastes funny from the stores that's close to this area. So I have to go like into Towson or, that has more white people in the area to go shopping. And when I bought the cereal there and they ate it, they was like, oh, it tastes fine now.
I believe it. Well, didn't they say that like a lot of the products that they sell in like the urban areas are a lot of tested products? Like CNC, you don't find in any regular store, but in every urban area, you're gonna find CNC in every store. Like specific drinks. I know CNC was one of them. Like Pop, that's another one. Specific cereals. I guess even like you just said, the cereals they'll taste different. They'll be using different chemicals. Something in a box and in a bag, you can't really tell what's actually in there. Yeah, that's crazy. But I know Gates was actually talking about population control for the longest time. So before this whole vaccine thing happened. So he's not someone I would necessarily trust.
Don't say the V word. They gonna
and the government paid farmers to burn their fucking crops. Their fucking crops.
They did. We in a food drought for real. We coming up on a food drought. Like it's gonna be do or die.
And look at here. How do you know what's gonna be in the fucking food? Because that's slick. It was like, well, John, why would they do it through the food? Like, that's just a conspiracy. Well, because the food grows out the ground, dumbass, and any chemicals that's inside of it, you can't be held personally liable because it comes from the earth. Double dumbass. That's why. To remove fucking liability. That's why. Even though you know as well as I do, you probably burned them goddamn crops, replanted other crops, and had that shit already there. I'm just saying.
Let's circle back to the original topic.
Yes, that's why I was like, we done got like
we sidetracked a little bit. I'm okay with that. The original topic: sex ed classes, the importance of them. Should LGBT courses, classes, all those things be taught to our children in classes? Someone recently sent me a video where in kindergarten, they're actually holding pride parade courses, or like scheduled out time where they'll do a walk around the school with their flags and different stuff like that in kindergarten.
What?
So, what is the agenda? What does the agenda actually look like? How's it being enacted? What do you think?
Get them young.
Get them while they're young.
You get them while they're young. That's not the first time that strategy has been used. Any fucking fool know that that's what you do. If you want to raise a racist, you do it when they're born. If you want to raise somebody who thinks they might be gay, you do it when they're born. You recruit them right then. That's all they know.
For parents that don't have the ability to stay home and teach their kids or raise their kids in the education system that they want, and they have to send them to school, how can those parents combat everything that they're learning in school, that their kids are learning in school?
Speak up.
Speak up to the school or speak up to your child?
No. Speak up. You're going to have to speak. You're going to get a board of parents that feel the same way you do together. Just like they did in Texas. And right now, as it stands, the Board of Education has been put on, and it might have been Florida. I keep saying Texas, but I think it was Florida. And now they got the legislation have been passed to where you cannot discuss homosexuality or transgenderism in grades K through 3. Don't even bring it up. Don't say shit. Nothing. It's not allowed to be talked about. And I applaud that governor for taking a stance and saving these children's lives and their minds. Because that shit is about as natural as a nigga growing 2 heads.
You talking about the governor that got spit on? And the riot?
That's what I was trying to find.
In California?
No, the governor of Florida, man. California with the shit.
Florida.
Every fucking city
He got
in California with
somebody. It was not the governor. It was the senator in California got spit on because he went to a high school and it was trans and people there, and he was calling this girl who looked like a girl she, and the she kept saying he, call me he, him, or they, or whatever. And she just kept saying she, and then somebody stood up and spit on him and all that. They was yelling at him in the classroom. I just seen that today.
You see that shit? You see what I'm talking about? That's why I don't never want to be around them little weird ass niggas. Man, ain't no way in hell.
Y'all heard of Abba and Preach?
What?
Of course.
The comedians?
Yeah.
Okay, they did. They just, that's why I seen it at today. Look at Abba.
Okay.
Look at this shit, man. This is just like modern Rome, man. It's like the modern Roman Empire, bro. This is a fucking official. You spitting on him? Fuck what you feel. You got a dick? You a boy. Your pronouns are he and him. You got a coochie? You a girl. Your shit is she and hers. Period.
What about our new justice, Supreme Court justice, saying
Man,
she doesn't know how to define a woman?
She what?
She don't know the definition of a woman. Remember they asked her that question?
Well,
she
was set up.
She danced around it because she's a politician now.
Yeah, she's a politician. I mean, she was playing the game. I mean, listen, you can't hate her for that because every other politician would have done the same thing. But real quick, here's a quick snippet of.
Okay.
Fair use, fair use.
There you go.
She's 17. He? I don't know. I didn't hear what you said.
My pronouns are he, they.
Oh, he's 17.
Yo, I'm not gonna lie. What does that even mean when your pronouns are he, they?
Well, it's Michael Jackson and a lot of people.
That right there was a. Hey, listen. That right there was a person. That right there was a very good, a perfect clinical case of a person that has a mental illness. And I'm not joking. And I mean every word I just said. What you saw was a person with a mental illness. Period. And they even tell you when they list the pronouns that they are mental illness and they're and they are identity. They have gender identity disorder. Period. All you have to do is listen. He, they.
She spat on me.
Oh shit!
She took off her mask.
See? Oh shit!
Yeah,
that's hip hop.
Yeah. Snatch mask off.
I would have had that motherfucking thing arrested. I would have had arrested for assault, and I'm gonna show it just what putting that spit outside her mouth can do for her. I'm serious. I would have had her ass arrested for assault.
How y'all doing? How's it going?
What's up?
I saw you on.
What's up, doctor?
I saw you on Sir Hill Speaks the other day, bro.
Oh yeah, man. He
chopping it up on there.
Huh?
I like your points. You were chopping it up on there, bro.
Yeah, it was pretty cool stuff. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that was good.
I just try to be, I seen a couple things.
You had a very balanced role. That was good.
Yeah.
Like you were a balanced role. You weren't too much on Sir Hill's side, but
no,
you didn't let the ladies just kind of run with it. Yeah,
no.
Dude, you had the most balanced role for sure.
Thanks, man. He said he might invite me back.
You should go.
For
sure.
Yeah, I'll go. Yeah, it's cool. Yeah, it was cool, man. Yeah. What you been up to, man? How's things been?
Pretty good. Life's still good. I didn't have my fight, unfortunately.
You still training?
No, I took the week off. I'm gonna be back in training next week.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh my God, I love it.
It was, I built a.
Why did the person forfeit?
They just didn't show up. I don't know why exactly. Yeah. So it
God, you was there, ready to fight and everything, and he just ain't show.
Yeah.
I did that one time, man.
What? Not show up?
Dude told me he gonna meet me outside at the school. I didn't show up.
He probably walked in, saw you, and left.
Yeah, that's it. He's like, McDonald's. McDonald's is probably a better idea.
Hey, man, I couldn't do it, man.
I mean, listen, other opportunities will come by.
A trained professional.
That happens, you know what I'm saying?
So what's up, man? I heard the doctor doing his thing when I jumped in. What's the deal?
But, you know what? We'll start with the question that we originally started with.
Oh, okay.
Sex ed classes should teach LGBTQ lessons.
Sex ed or what?
Sex education classes in schools, high schools, should teach LGBTQ lessons.
Should teach the lessons.
Yeah.
Okay, so let me think. So lessons, I'm not against. Recruiting would be my issue. So if you're using lessons to recruit, and you using lessons as your position of authority, of influence as a teacher over the youth, as a power of suggestion to promote it and condone it and give permission, then I'm not with that. So here's the example I would use.
Same damn thing I said. Exact same thing.
And yeah, in physics class, they may teach that oxygen is how the fire can burn, right? They may teach that this particular chemical is flammable and this is that. Well, we're not teaching to promote and recruit arsonists. We're not trying to produce arsonists. That's not what's going on. When even something as dangerous as fire, teaching about how you can make it and different things like that. In metal shop, when they're telling you to throw the scraps of metal and hydrochloric acid so it can eat it down, they're not teaching you so that you can become some of those weird serial killers and body eaters and all of that, right? That's a lesson. But if they're using it in disguise of promotion, you know, then nah, I'm not down with that. I'm not going to support that. But awareness, I'm always down for. You know, like I used to have conversations. I used to be in conversations briefly about religion, and people would talk about the Jews, and this would be from maybe a Christian or Islamic side. And I would say, well, have you read their literature? Have you studied them? No, I don't read that shit. Okay, so how do you what's going on? So all of your teaching,
where you base your opinion
on this?
yeah. But what happens is people will accept what's given to them from their side. So whatever they may be learning under the guise of Islam or Christianity about Jews, right? Then that's the extent of where they are. And then when you have them qualified on a more tangible or empirical level, then they say, see, that's what I mean, brothers like you. Right, cool, it's the rhetoric then. But yeah, so I would say, yeah, I'm giving you my yay and nay, right? That's what I'm giving you, my yay and nay. Yeah, awareness is cool. So you can teach awareness, you can teach what something is. But there's a easy discernment where there is a litmus test to see if you're promoting, you're endorsing, you're recruiting, you're trying to reproduce in some way. So
do you think there's a hidden agenda behind all of this? Because I mean,
when you say all of this, what do you mean?
Meaning how there's a lot more like transgenders reading to kids in libraries.
I mean, it may. No, go ahead, CKK. Go
ahead. Well, in kindergarten, they have like kids doing a Pride Day rally. In kindergarten.
So,
like that.
So I don't think it's hidden if they're doing that. There's nothing hidden about it, right?
I guess so. Yeah.
So, but who wouldn't want to promote their position? That's natural, right? It's natural to promote your position. I don't see anything wrong with that from where they are, to promote their own position, their own belief system, their own idea. All right, so that's like me saying, like I hear some gay people or homosexuals or lesbians, whatever, talk about the alphabet people, the LGBTQ, transgender or whatever, right? And it's almost like, well, what's the difference between where you are with it and where they are with it? You know, I think that there's more of an impact of a child seeing two women kiss each other and raise little boys. That's going to settle on him more in a different way than what's presently in place now at the transgender level, because that thing has generations behind it. That thing has a whole snowball effect. The child has heard. Let's talk about what has been done already. Let me say that for just give me 30 seconds. Let's talk about what has been done already.
Okay.
You already have kids, little boys, growing up in homes where they hear it echoed. You don't need a man. I don't need a man in here. We're just as good as a man. And all of that. And so, you know, if we want to talk about the damage done, that's in place, or we talking about what's to come? What are we talking about? I'm saying that rhetorically, right? So that's why I don't separate a lot of that stuff. The people who think that here's my position, because everybody crazy about God and Jesus and the law and all that. Okay, so if we were here put naturally and organically, there's two species or two sexes, and we're here to procreate, okay? Then everything that deviates away from that thesis, that mantra right there, goes against that. And so what happens is when people deviate and they have the luxury of saying, the next people shouldn't come thinking differently. To me, that's hypocrisy. See, that's how I look at it, because you can't procreate a woman and a woman. Yeah, they're gonna come up with the machine. They're gonna eventually have the device. But I'm just saying, we're talking about our natural biology, right? It's not even designed for that, you know. So that's why I say that. I'm gonna shut up. But the lesson's cool. Is it hidden? None of it's hidden. It's right in our face. Do I have a problem with them promoting their position? Not at all. I respect and acknowledge anybody that's going to push their position. Like, that's natural for somebody to push their philosophy, their belief, their lifestyle, what they embrace. I mean, that's not me, but I can't ignore that.
Interesting point. You always bring a different perspective, Tack. I gotta say that.
Oh, I have to.
But I think it goes beyond just them supporting their position. Because if it was them supporting their position, they wouldn't be trying to have children support their position.
No, I agree with you with that, CKQ. I'm saying all of it. The support, the indoctrination, the recruiting, all of that. Of course that's what it's about. Why wouldn't it be? Why shouldn't it be from where they are? Whoever think it's not, I mean, I don't know. But why wouldn't it be? Why shouldn't it be? Why wouldn't white folks be even more insecure now about America if they're all about just being white, when the Latino, well, still, if you look at children who's having a lot of babies, white people have a whole gang of babies now, right? But in terms of people, they're watching everything change. They're watching that whole white thing get faded. They're watching themselves become the minority. So why wouldn't they double down on their positions and laws that would prevent or slow that down? You know, it's just like with the Latinos or the Mexicans, right? Everybody say people of color, we all people of color. That's bullshit. Your ass black, and then there's something called people of color. And you're gonna see that once those other so-called people of color we keep holding hands with get in those political positions and those other positions of power, they're gonna bring their own. Why wouldn't they? Let me know when you see a bee fly over an injured ant and help it back to the ant colony. I don't understand what the expectation is. I have no expectation of white people looking out for me before they look out for themselves, their own kids. I have no expectation of A, B, C, D, E, F, G, that the alphabet group or gay people looking out for my child and me before they look out for their own agenda and what they're promoting and what they're putting forth. I don't. Why would I have that expectation?
I just don't. I don't think, you know what, the expectation is not the problem. I think when it's backed by government power, that's where I find it's not so beneficial to the populace.
I got you.
You know, because at the end of the day, it's what's good for the population, not what's good for the minority.
Absolutely.
Exactly. Which I'm glad you brought that point up. See, when you got 96.3% of the population being heterosexual, willing to reproduce, no problems with they don't really care about they have their own pronouns. They understand what they are, who they are, what their role is. Then you've got 4% of a population, but you got them structure the laws to consider the minority, a 4% minority at that. But then you got the 12% minorities who don't got shit. We ain't had shit since the Civil Rights Bill. And we didn't get that motherfucker by ourselves. They included women on that shit. And for all of y'all who want to fucking throw up about how kids get into certain schools, that shit is for women and minority in general. That shit is not specific for no fucking blacks. It don't say just blacks. You gotta have a certain number of minorities, motherfucker. And now that includes trans, gays. So what did you get? Really? What did you get? Because there's specific literature that protects Asians. There's specific literature that protects homosexuals. Specific literature that protects trans and people who have personality disorders. But as a black man, what do you have? As a black woman, what do you have? Can somebody answer that for me? Maybe I'm not well read enough. Maybe I missed something. Can somebody cite that for me? So I can
strong educated. We got strong, educated, independent women.
Where's the laws though? Where's our laws? What will protect me if me specifically? If I'm discriminated against. And why don't you take the times when I'm discriminated against? Why don't you take the same action you take for a faggot?
For who?
A fag.
Oh.
You go to Washington and you say that word, you'll get arrested on the spot. You get called a nigga, they'll be there when you can, whenever you can. We'll be there when I get there. They want to give you a lesson about name calling.
Right, yeah.
But they don't have the same explosive fucking energy. You would think somebody damn slapped the fuck out of a child.
So
the way they respond. Since when did the homosexuals become more important than the fucking majority of the fucking people? Since when?
Especially the people who slaved and built this country.
And now let's go back over to the science part. But John, these people are killing themselves because they already have
emotional damage.
They already have a fucking mental illness and they still kill themselves. Because transsexualism is comorbid with depression. Or should I say depression is why they became a transsexual. Let's talk about inclusivity. What the fuck is that? What does that look like? What you trying to tell me? I'm going to say the same thing I told you when we was talking on the phone. I'm going to pose this question to Talk. Talk know about sports, right?
All right. I don't. Well.
I'm going to ask you, you know about sports. Let me ask you this, Talk.
Ask me, man.
All right, so
I'm not an athlete. I never was.
You ain't gotta be, but you know enough about sports to answer the question, right?
Okay, all right.
If you got a fucking couch potato up off the couch, never participated in a fucking sport in their life,
right?
And you put them in a fucking running group in the morning. These boxers and these other athletes run every morning,
right?
And they said, "Well, I'm gonna run with y'all."
Yeah.
Okay. Well, would that be a detriment to them athletes, or would it be beneficial because they including someone that's not like them?
Yeah, I mean, on one side, definitely off the grip is a detriment. On the other side, if he come in there speaking his motivational stuff, then he use that example as confirmation.
All right.
Yeah.
All right.
Why you should work out. This is why we get up 4 a.m. in the morning. Yeah.
Okay.
So
now
I'm
we
with
put this
you.
fat nigga out here in this run, and they have to keep turning around and go get the slot.
Oh, this nigga gonna collapse. He gonna collapse.
Yeah, because you know why?
Collapse.
Because he don't fucking fit in.
Yeah.
If you want to fucking be with the athletes, nigga, be an athlete.
Yeah.
Go train and become an athlete. Or
Yeah.
stay the fuck with the couch potatoes.
Yeah,
Then
he
you're
gonna-
included.
Oh shit. Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
So
if you want to be included, nigga, be included in that. If you want to be included amongst the elite, then become elite. But if you want to be included, nigga, be included in what you just chose to be included in. If you chose to fucking cut your dick off and become a trans, go hang out with them.
All right, so Dr. John, let me upgrade that guy. Let me upgrade the couch potato, right?
Man.
So he falls out, or he can't make it, and he does it 3 different times, 3 different days. His father's a lawyer. His father now files a petition that they need to slow down how fast they run in the morning, because now the couch potato doesn't have equal access to participate in the intramural activities or whatever is going on.
That's his God-given right. Let me put that on there. Now that's the goddamn direction that we as a people are headed down with this sick, twisted way of fucking thinking. Because just like that, in this mock conversation, in this mock dialogue, Top just helped me show you how dumb this shit sounds. And how everybody who has a fucking insecurity will benefit. So fuck being elite, man. Fuck being a man. You better off, and I said this before, y'all need to contest to this. You are better off going to your next job interview saying you a fucking openly gay male. And you was just wondering if you had a problem with me working here. And you will get the fucking job. I promise you, that motherfucker's gonna be scared as fuck not to hire you. Like, he got it out too fast. I gotta hire him. I ain't trying to have the Rainbow Coalition down here marching on us, nigga. We gotta hire him now. Qualified or not, we gotta hire this motherfucker. I mean, how do it really feel to know you're not wanted? Ain't nobody want to be, man. Y'all niggas, man, y'all fake niggas faking the fucking funk, man. I see him on these social media sites, knowing this fat ass chick ain't getting no likes for real. Why y'all juicing this girl up? If that was the case, man, more fat women would be booed up, man. Fat women at an all-time high being single. Nobody wants your big ass. They take a certain nigga that wants you. You ain't getting no 195 fucking likes for real. That's just the way they've been conditioned, bro. When they did a survey of fucking about how people felt about homosexual, transgender, and all that shit, and they made sure it was autonomous, where nobody would fucking know. Not autonomous, but anonymity was enforced.
That's right.
Nigga. The truth came out. Majority of Americans wish they would go away. Just go live somewhere else. Don't be around us.
Well, it's not even so much their lifestyle or who they are. It's the idea that
it's the fucking shit, the drama they keep up.
You can't correct them, or you can't really be wrong in any way around them without some big ramification towards your livelihood.
And it's crazy. It is crazy, and it infuriates me to know that academia is supporting this stupid ass notion of all these different fucking pronouns based on how someone feels, nigga. So when do you stop the feeling? So if I feel like I don't have cancer, can I sue my doctor if he said I had cancer? Oh, we ain't gonna stop there, boo-boo. We gonna keep fucking going. This is all based around how I feel. Fuck science, fuck biology, fuck anything to do with things that measurable scientific data. Fuck that. It's all about me, bitch. It's how I feel inside. And I feel like you're wrong. I'll sue you. I will sue you.
So,
go ahead.
No, I'm trying to give the ladies a chance. I don't want to keep running my mouth.
Chris busy. It's that time of the year for Chris. This is when she really get that work in.
She's making that money.
I'm fine. Hey.
Oh, okay. So
go ahead.
Oh, so I just think that a lot of times when it comes to the politics of it, the laws, that sometimes the politicians are self-serving. You know, they're willing to put forth that sometimes, and they hate homosexuals. They're disgusted about the letter group, but they will use them to push forward their career or their agenda or whatever that might be. So sometimes the politics of it is just They're trying. It's an ends to a mean for them. It's just serving the cause. And then as soon as they get it, they'll step to the side and act like they never met them until it's time to act like we cool again, right? So there's a number of factors of so many dynamics involved. But that's why I always say, if there wasn't a God, there'd be a need to create one. Because there's just certain things that we as individuals, as human beings, as communities, as societies, we can't, not that we can't control, but
we can't police ourselves.
Yeah.
We cannot police ourselves. There has to be a moral structure put in place by a higher power for us to follow in order for us to have some type of structure to monitor our behaviors.
Absolutely. And the government is never the answer. And we're never the answer.
The government is going to do whatever wherever the votes come from. That's who the fucking government is going to fucking support.
You know, I had a cousin growing up. I had a cousin named Avery growing up. And when we used to go over my aunt's house and we had to use the bathroom, my aunt used to say, Avery, come downstairs. Now, I didn't know then Avery was gay, right? He was a homosexual, right? And so my aunt wanted to make sure that when we went to the bathroom, he didn't come in there and try to do something, you know? And I didn't know that, like, for a couple of years. I mean, not that we went over there that much, but we just remember it. And then it came out later on, you know, when Avery was on, because we started seeing him with guys hugged up and whatever like that. But and like I say, I don't have a deep-seated hate or anger for transgender or LGBT or even gay people or any of that stuff. And the reason why is because as I understand us as human beings and what I've embraced, most of the people, 98% of them were victims, okay? Most of them, I don't think from science that was really born that way. This is behavior, this is experience, something they've been exposed to, you know?
Traumatic.
And so as a result of that, I know that many of them have been victims. Now, what happens a lot of times when we are traumatized or victims of certain things, it's easier for us to cope and rationalize that to exist if we embrace it as the lifestyle. This is who we are. This is what I am. And you know what, I was born this way. And then we suppress that, you know, your uncle had something to do with that, or your aunt, or your siblings, or the neighbor, or something like that. And that's why I say, even when it comes to this, I was born this way, people are different and all of that. Now, a lot of women and men who are homosexuals, they become a victim twice. They become a victim in terms of something that may have happened that exposed them to that way of life. And then they become a victim again because society has allowed everybody to say, just say you was born that way. We embracing that you different. We just love you so much. And we don't even want to hear about the school teacher, the uncle, the brother, the neighbor, the whoever anymore. That's why all of a sudden, what has been reduced now, and it's a hard find, is people being arrested for what they did to their siblings and youth and neighbors years ago. It's a hard find. At one time, you heard about it almost every other day. Now, all of a sudden, you know, it doesn't happen.
Exist.
Yeah, all of a sudden, you done wiped out that. So now
it's hard to convict someone of something that happened 12 years ago, though, you know?
No,
you know
but I'm not talking about the conviction. The arrest is easy.
But you know they
This is also pretty good what Snuggle said. Soon you all won't be able to say the word gay, so be careful of the words you use on your panel because I don't want you all to get in trouble. This is what politics has created. Free speech. Free speech, baby. Do you think a male or female can be persuaded to be attracted to the same sex? As I understand it, in order to be attracted, you have to be aroused. In order to be aroused, it is a chemical reaction.
Absolutely.
Ooh.
Yeah, absolutely. Let me tell you how it happens, Snuggles. That was a great question. I'm glad I want to answer that question. Okay, so this is what happens. See, have you ever heard of this thing called positive psychology, what you speak into existence, did show it so it shall be? Anybody else? I know.
Is that like a self-fulfilling prophecy?
Yeah, it's like self-fulfilling prophecy. So let's talk about that. The reason you have to understand that to understand what I'm about to tell you. The reason that works is because your neurotransmitters work differently when you really believe it. It's just like a person that can pass a lie to take the test if they believe the lie. Your heart responds differently. Your amygdala responds differently. Your neurotransmitters are literally rerouted, even though it's a lie. It's a complete lie, right? So when you feel a certain way about yourself and you believe that this is the only way that you're going to have any kind of semblance of a normal life, then you will become aroused. What's going to arouse you is the fact that you were traumatized as a young boy, and this is a masculine boy. This boy is strong. This boy is tougher than you. So he's attractive to you. He's attractive. So now you're producing dopamine. And every time you're around a boy that fits that description, you're producing dopamine. Now here's the follow me on this. Dopamine is the only neurotransmitter that is a learning neurotransmitter.
Oh, really?
Just like people become addicted to drugs because of the dopamine effect, you can become addicted to a sex because of a dopamine effect. That's how you become addicted to anything, because of dopamine. Because you learn to become attracted to that. So absolutely, you can. Absolutely. And if you were just persuaded and you was never touched as a little kid, but you was always wondering why you couldn't do this or you couldn't do that, and you got caught at a young age in this period of self-doubt, then hell yeah, you can be persuaded. You got to understand something, man. Kids go through a developmental process, and one of the ages that they really target is those ages around 11 and 12 years old. Why? Because you're in identity versus role confusion. You'll see a kid look at something, if he like it, I want to be that. I'm going to be an astronaut when I grow up. I can't wait. And if you can talk him out of it. Well, I mean, you can't really, you trying to kill my spirits. And you see something else. I'm going to be an NFL football star when I grow up. No, I'm going to be a firefighter. Because he's all over the place with his identity. And this period lasts between 12 and 18 years old. So if I catch you and your kid is on YouTube all the time and doing this, that, and the third, and he see these people getting all, how do you know your child is not controlled by attention? How do you know your child is not controlled by social reinforcement? How do you know that? You don't fucking know that. Well, that's my child. I know you don't know shit because you don't know psychology. That's why you have to go see a specialist to deal with your damn child, because you don't know shit about it, right? So if this child is watching these people respond positively to fucking homosexuals, what do you think that fucking child wants to do? What do you think? If they want attention. Go ahead.
But you gotta also put the factor of the foods and the chemicals. She's talking, whoever that is, talking about chemicals.
In the chemicals
it's stuff in our foods that can do that. I was talking about earlier about the study with the frogs, and they put these chemicals in our food. So you have the chemical, you have the positive behavior, you have all this stuff combining to make you feel that way.
And
what I wanted to butt in and say about was, I seen this lady called Dr. Sharna, and she was pulling up this study about how it's basically leading to making pedophilia orientation, like LGBTQ and then P.
Yeah, that's no, for real. You laugh.
They're really trying to add up.
I'm serious. The next letter in that bitch is gonna be P.
Yeah, I can see that. I can see that.
The next letter with this fucking group, because you're making this group very.
So if someone can be persuaded because of dopamine being a learning neurotransmitter, when someone gets older, would they be stuck in the ways, or would they get?
Nah, they cannot change. No, that's why there's been no successful forms of homosexual therapy. None, because the doctors who tried to do the behavioral they did it wrong. They should have used cognitive behavioral therapy and discussed what Uncle Joe did to them. Let's talk about that. Because if you can heal Uncle Joe, then you can redefine what their purpose and role was. Because I always ask this question. Because this question is how I find out that these men who were homosexuals actually had kids, and the women who were homosexual had kids. I said, by you being an open homosexual, do you want your child to become a homosexual? Ask me how many of them said yes. Ask me.
0.
0 fucking one said yes. 0. 0 said yes. 0. 0. Because I remember having a conversation with one in specific. So why is it, if you don't want this for your child, well, why do people get ostracized again when they don't want it for their child and called a bigot from your community? Well, I don't do that because I know I won't want that for my child, and I mean that. And that's how they answer it. And the thing about it is, this is not a group session. This is individual, one-on-one with me. One-on-one, mano a mano. And I know I pissed one of them off because I asked him, I said, how are you a homosexual man, but you got 4 kids? You aroused for a woman.
Real quick, from Snuggle, shout out to you. You've always got some great questions on every panel.
Why don't you just
shout
hop
out
up
to
on
you.
the panel?
I know. Come on up, Snuggles.
I mean, it ain't busy tonight. Just come on up.
No.
Then you can save on writing. You ain't gotta. Does she have to cut her camera on? Can she not have her camera on?
He or she.
Or he or she? I don't know.
Snuggles. I mean, what happens when a person who is a transformer, completely transformed, are they usually happy with their final form and live out the rest of their days, or do they want to change back?
Yeah, I know. The answer is a lot of them want to change back. That's the truth.
That's what I've heard.
A lot of them want to change back. A lot of them want to change back.
Realize they shouldn't have done it.
I know 6 cases that actually changed back, and one who changed his mind altogether. Which brings me to my next talking point. When you're going through the developmental process, 12 years old is too fucking young. It's way too young. If you want to do something, wait till they're 18 and make the transition if that's what they want to do. Period. What you think, Clement?
I think.
Go ahead. Me?
I'm not gonna lie to you. I think I'm falling asleep a little bit.
Yeah, you're yawning. I think you're going all like this.
Yeah, my eyes are having a hard time staying awake today, guys. I'm sorry.
I'm sorry. I was supposed to call somebody at 10 o'clock. What I wanted to say was about when you were talking about the brain and the dopamine and all that stuff. I was watching something that was talking about how you can change your mind on things, but it's hard once you build that branch. Once you build that branch in your brain, as you grow up and you build that branch, and it's always a pathway, like whatever you think about is always going to be that pathway. It starts
neurotransmitter.
Yeah, that branch gets real thick, so it's hard to change into thinking in a different way. But you can do it if you do it consciously. If, like, I started to look into spirituality things, so I think a lot of those men who come up and be like, well, I feel like I'm a woman, was probably a woman in another life, but don't realize that they were supposed to be a man in this life and just explore the man. Yeah, you probably still have remnants of remembering that other life. But this is just my opinion. And now you're like, oh man, this other life is coming to you like, oh man, I should have been a woman. That's what I'm supposed to be. And you never really realize because of this medicine, because of this behavior, not medicine, because of the stuff in the foods and all that stuff, you're not realizing you're supposed to be a man in this life spiritually. So a lot of them are lost spiritually too, in the sense that they may have that in there and now they feel like they want to be a woman, but it was just that was your experience as a woman. Now this is your experience as a man, and you're supposed to take whatever you learn into this life as a man.
Interesting.
Yeah,
it's interesting outlook on that.
That's my opinion.
I think they just never. I think a lot of them just don't fit in with the boys. They just don't fit in with their group. They're not getting the attention that they want, and they're not fitting in as masculine boys. That's what I think. Because look at Dwayne Wade's son and look at Magic Johnson's son. Their dads were never there. The oldest boy, Dwayne Wade's oldest boy, his dad was always around. Hence,
is that Brony?
No, Bronny, LeBron James' son. No, Dwayne Wade has two sons. He has a boy who wants to be a girl, and then he has a boy who's a boy and knows he's a boy, y'all boy. That's the one Dwayne Wade always had with him. He was in his life. That's why he balled out so good. The other one was always left back with a female nanny. He was not around for him until he retired. Then when he retired, the damage was done. Then you introduced Gabrielle Union, wanting to be like the rest of the Hollywood, forgetting her roots. And she is encouraging that shit. I don't care what nobody say. She encouraging that bullshit.
What about
ain't no such thing as no fucking trans kid, man.
What about
let's tackle this real quick.
Right?
Let's tackle this real quick.
Okay.
So if a lot of them wants to change back, does that have to deal with nature or nurture? And how does a learning neurotransmitter get overwritten by nature? How does that work?
So what ends up happening is nature and nurture are something that nature is always going to override nurture. Now, we're not always going to override nurture, but nurture has a bigger impact than nature, because nurture is dealing with you in the world. You are in the world. So this is your eyes, your ears, everything. That's nurture. Nature, the only part of nature that shows up is what's your genetic predisposition. What are your chromosomes? Nature, the nigga was a girl. If you born with a penis, nature, you was a boy. If you born with a penis, you don't have an extra X chromosome, because those are it's only two natural trans that are produced. And that is Klinefelter syndrome and hermaphrodites or intersex. Those are the only two natural occurrences of transsexuals. All right. So
there's not a lot of them.
No, it's less than 1%. Less than 1%. But yet you get me to believe 185 fucking kids all of a sudden want to be opposite sex. Shut up. Get out of here. So that's all nurture. But when you're during your developmental stages, right? You looking for your identity. You are literally trying to figure out who the fuck you are, what is your place versus what is your role. And if you don't figure that out, you will be role confused. That's why you need those parents in your life. If you're a boy, you need a damn dad so that you don't experience role confusion. That's why when I decided to study of Littman 2018 that the LGBTQ can't fucking stand, calling her all kinds of things. Bitch, the numbers are the numbers. We don't care about everybody. Every time something does not work in their favor, they outcry against it. Oh, it's just another bigot. The numbers are not gonna work for you, boo. If it was, it would be a stronger presence of you in society. That's why your recruitment is up so hard, because you want more people to feel like you feel. And we just won't. We don't. And we will not. So let that little bit go. But to get back to answering her question, or his question, whoever that is, Snuggles' question. When they want to go back, they realize that they just can't be what you've never been.
So are you trying to explain to me that Each one of you all on this panel can be nurtured into liking either the same sex or even an object or even an animal in a physical manner.
At our age, no, but at age 12, yes.
Yeah.
At our age, no. But at age, all the ages up until 18, absolutely, you can. You can be nurtured into it. You absolutely can. Okay, here's a, let me ask you this. When you were an infant, you don't know what your favorite food was. Somebody would have to tell you. And then there's been food that you never tried before, but you looked at it and was like, I don't want to eat that shit. But then you tried it and you liked it. You got nurtured into liking something you ain't have you wasn't gonna like until you tried it. Right? Now, what if me trying it gives me reward and praise amongst my peers? There's
even if you don't like it.
Even if you don't like it, how do you think people get? You think people really want to be on drugs? You think a woman really want to go out here and suck strange men dick because she done got addicted to a damn drug? Because that's what happens. That's what happens. Any female drug addict that's on the streets will tell you, yeah, you're gonna have to suck some dick. I mean, that's just what it is. Just call it what it is. What you're gonna have to do. You think they volunteered for that?
Emotional damage.
There was no way they volunteered for that shit. They believed in their mind that I'm strong. I'm not a drug addict. This drug will not control me at all. Then a year later, they out here sucking dick for $20. I mean, that's what happens. They got conditioned. They got conditioned to do something that was very bad for them. Despite everybody fucking telling them, don't do this because this is what's going to happen. Don't do that because this is going to happen. They learn to love and depend on drugs, and then their body depended on it.
Tak, you want to add anything unique?
No, I'm just saying I agree with Dr. John. I mean, when it comes to nature and nurture, nature is in you, is more innate. Nurture is what's written on the board once you get here. So, you have, it's no different than somebody coming up in the hood. They was born fine. That was nature. They had some innate things that gave them a high propensity for certain things, but the nurture of it, their life is experience, there's teaching, they're writing on the wall. All of that is going to be a direct influence. And so, that's where we talked about before. You're going to learn, that's where you learn to love your mom, but you learn from your dad. That's where you learn that structure, that discipline coming from your dad about life. Whereas though it's almost like your dad is Moses and your mom is Jesus giving out hugs. But that's what happens. And that's why in the beginning, earlier, the question about them teaching it to younger kids, or in the state of Florida, I think, the governor, they signed a law. They don't want any of the teachers teaching about gays or LBGQ or any of that until the kids are out of the 6th grade or 7th grade or whatever like that, or the age range.
They out of the 8th grade.
8th grade, because they know.
No, till they out of the 3rd grade.
Till they out of the 3rd grade. Yeah, because they know it's too it impresses too much on their mind, in terms of influencing different things like that. So, I mean, that's with anything. That's with anything, I think.
And if it can't be nurtured into food, how did people know they want to be vegetarians? How do you nurture someone into liking beets after they tasted it and said they don't like it? Let me tackle this real quick.
Who said you can't be nurtured into food, first of all?
Yeah, you can easily. And especially after you tasted it and you didn't like it, it's not about you liking it or not liking it. It's about all the positive praise you're going to get from it.
Oh, okay.
The positive praise is what's going to want you. You're not going to like it, but you're going to keep doing it because of the positive praise.
Okay.
Yeah, like if you're a fat person and it's really important for you to lose weight, and somebody tells you, well, if you eat this and this, I guarantee you gonna lose weight. Hell, you gonna listen to him. Why? Because the desire for you to be small is much greater than you doing any fucking research, because you really don't know how to be small. Obviously, because you got so fucking big. So
or in Lizzo's case, where big is beautiful, body positivity, where clearly everything in life tells her it's unhealthy to be that way.
And she got off of that shit too and started losing weight.
Did she finally?
Yeah, because she in her delusional fucking way of thinking thought that men were gonna be attracted to her. And I tried to tell her, I didn't try to tell her personally, but it's like I've been telling y'all, niggas, we are visual. You got some dudes who like big girls, but they are few and far in between. Just like you got some girls who like big dudes, but they are few and far in between. But a girl will give a big nigga a pass before a nigga give a big girl a pass. And that's just the whole shit. There's three things that a nigga want.
I've never seen a big girl without a man.
Respect. I've seen a bunch of big girls that can't get men.
And most of the big girls who got men, they men like this big.
Yeah, they be small.
Yeah.
They men this big. They like
love
big
big girls. Little bitty dudes, they like them big mother. I don't know. They just do.
They like being the little spoon.
They want bragging rights with their buddies, respect from that woman, right? Respect and loyalty from that woman. And hell, well, of course, you know, the physical shit. But that's what we want. It's gonna take some maturing and some aging before you.
Wasn't that the westernizing ideas to say that?
Okay,
no, it is. All that come from Western ideas of small is better. It does, because in Africa, the women that get the most play now they westernizing. They are westernizing. Before the women who get the most play, you can ask them. The woman who get the most play was the bigger women. Why? Because that meant they had money too. Because if you that big, that means you got money to buy food to eat. So a lot of the men went towards the bigger women in Africa. But I think people just saying that is because from a child you are taught, if you look this way, this is good.
Yeah, but
not exactly.
Like,
and that's
you are dispelling everything you just said. You are dispelling everything you just said if you don't believe that westernization has made.
I believe that, but in this case, that's not what that
you have to have this in order to be attractive.
It has an effect. It has an effect on the bone structure, like the thinness, right? But in most countries, overweight women are seen as women that have already matured, in the sense they already had children and they're already married. So most single men who are hoping to have offspring are typically looking for thinner women. Now, how you define thin in different countries is different, but typically they're not looking for men that are very heavy, because that typically means that they've already had children. That's how they connect those two things. Most of the time, I would say they're looking for women that are a bit more petite. There may be a few countries where that is the case, because they see it as you're well nourished. If you are overweight, you have access to food. But I think most of the time, it's men typically want women that look like they're able to carry offspring, meaning that they're a healthy weight, and then also don't look like they've already had kids.
Right. And that's what you're looking at. You're looking at that small waistline. She got room to have a baby, put on a little weight, and then get that weight back off.
Mm-hmm.
That's what you're looking at. You're looking at her from a sexual standpoint, from you desiring to be with her sexually.
Biological.
But yeah, it's biological. That's something that's innate.
And I wonder,
that's nature.
And I wonder in that case, if they are going after larger women, I wonder if the women still meet the general characteristics of a thinner waist and larger hips, because that typically means childbearing, right? So even if they are larger, they probably don't have large stomachs, right? They're probably just thicker around the hips. Like they probably need a certain ratio still in order to be attractive.
Yep. And Kevin Hernandez is exactly right.
That's my boy. He's a professional boxer as well. He won a lot of like Golden Gloves, LBC, Diamond Gloves, all those. I was doing Muay Thai and Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, but he was predominantly boxing when we were growing up together. So he's another cool guy. He's a very smart guy, intelligent. In Colombia right now. He's actually in Colombia. In Columbia University. It's the other way around with the
fatter men were most likely like a king. They were like most of your kings were not. They had fit men around them to protect them, but they necessarily were not fit. They had plenty of wealth and money, and that's how a woman, you would measure, your purse was measured by your girth. If you were bigger, you had more money.
Yeah.
If you were small, you were starving. You were a peasant. That's where they came from. But throughout history, men have always been attracted to smaller women.
Yeah. It just,
because even when I was in Africa, them some of the finest motherfuckers. Ain't nobody talking about no damn skin and bones, man. I'm talking about a motherfucker with a nice round ass, nice perky titties. She thick. You feel me? Thick, fine as shit. Yeah. And I'm talking about, oh Jesus, man. Man, some of them girls are so goddamn fine, but them AIDS numbers was too fucking high for me, baby.
I've been big most of my adult life, and I ain't never been alone.
Man, I seen you. Your long ass was not big.
Most of my adult life, 20s, when I hit my mid-20s, I would say like, not even mid, I was like 21, 22 is when I started to get big. And I ain't never been alone.
What do you call big?
Big?
Because bruh, I'm talking about your belly. Don't make me embarrass you, but you know what I'm talking about. You know where I'm going with this. You know where I'm going with this. Now, Nick, you know where I'm going with this.
I think I know where you're going with this.
And that shit gets a fucking pass. That is totally different. We are not talking about that. We're not looking at that. You will not be alone. But you know what I'm talking about.
So to round it off, if your belly sticks out more than your chest and your butt, you're big.
Right.
Then I'm big.
Nah.
No. Because my stomach does stick out more. And I have no butt.
No, it don't, man. It's impossible.
It is not impossible.
Man, bro.
That's the whole reason for the whole reason for me doing this surgery on Thursday is for my health. Not because I've been like this most of my adult life.
You ain't never
like my mid-20s.
And that's one of the reasons you
at 9 years old. Come on, I don't even remember an A cup. So at 9 years old, I've always had that. But I'm not talking about that.
You was born.
I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about everything else. So I'm talking about everything else. So what I'm trying to say is that it doesn't matter in the sense it's how you carry yourself too. You know what I'm saying? It's not just you being big. It's how you carry yourself. It's how you look. You know, I mean, you can't be walking around here sloppy with rolls hanging out and all that other stuff, but it's how you carry yourself. So it's not to just say big girls.
You can only carry but so much.
That's a lie to me.
Nah, when we talk about big girls, the niggas on the panel know what we mean when we say big girls, man. We talking about big girls. They know who we talking about.
Also understand that men will still sleep with anything. I'm not even like, men will still sleep with anything. But the true test of a man is he willing to marry her, invest his resources and everything into her.
She don't have enough resources.
Give her his last name and say, I'm going to protect and provide for you. That's the real test. If the test is, I think sometimes women get that confused because if a man decides to entertain. Like if a man entertains women, they'll see it as like, oh, okay, that's the level of man I can get. Whereas in reality, no. Like guys will just they just fuck to fuck. That's about it. That's it.
Yeah. I think another thing that we don't consider either is the type of men and how many men. I do think that the bigger that we as women get, I think we do understand that we have less options. It may not be all women. Of course, it's not all women, but I think generally speaking, larger women, from what I've heard, is they typically know that their options for men are slimmer than a more petite woman.
Because she has more options. She has more options, so she'll probably keep them open for longer than needed.
Mm-hmm.
A 6 and above, you gonna have to be at body weight. You're gonna have to be at what's considered a healthy body weight.
Yeah.
Like you have to have a figure and everything. A 6 and above, a 6 and above.
Yeah, at 6 is like, all right, you're at optimal body weight. That's where the standard starts at 6.
That's where it starts at. Yeah. You have no noticeable flaws in your face. Your skin is healthy, free of bumps. You wearing your own natural hair. That's me. I don't count shit when you gotta buy it. When you go to pulling shit off, you could be bald headed up on that motherfucker. Nah, I'm talking about your natural shit, what you was born with. Your tits are not sagging. Hell, you 6 and above, bro, you damn near like shit. The average woman ain't hit 6 and above. I can just tell you that.
The what?
The average woman is not no 6 and above.
Yeah, the average woman is not 6.
No, not 6. No, average woman about a 5, 4, somewhere off in there.
I think on a good day 5, yeah.
Or 5 in the possible. And then if she got more than 3 kids, she ain't a 6 either. I don't care what she look like.
There's no way she could be she could have been like a 9 and got like 3 kids. That'll probably drop her down to like a 6.
Right. But she really a 9. But marriage, if you throw that scale in there for marriage,
she's like a 2. She's like a 2.
Yeah.
This sounds like a FICA score, man.
A lot of points. You lost points. I promise you. Them kids is like fucking. Them kids is like having taxes.
5 in the possible.
Shit. Say what? What you say?
That's a good spade hand. 5 in the possible. That's good.
Man, them interest rates gonna be something.
No. Snuggles, I don't mind at all, man. I do enjoy your questions.
Hey, Snuggles, what language do you speak? What's your first language?
Snuggles. First language, Snuggles. Either that or call in. I prefer call in.
It would be nice if you just called in, but she probably won't if that's not her first language.
Big facts. Yeah, and the statistics, but if we're gonna judge by eyes, I mean the average is probably more like a 4 than a 5.
It is. It's more closer to a 4. The 5s, I was being nice on, like, you know what I'm saying? Because a 5 is like, I'm picturing a woman who's dressed up. I'm assuming she's dressed up. But you fuck around and catch her on an off type day. See, like a 6 don't have to wear makeup. That's another. A 6 don't have to wear makeup. Period. Don't have to wear makeup at all. If we just leave it just to aesthetics, right? Don't forget kids and all that. Even forget marriage. Now a 5, a promotable 5.
What up, Apex Alpha Simp?
A promotable 5 has got a great personality. It's fun to be around.
A promotable 5?
A promotable 5.
Apex
Fun girl.
Alpha Innocent? I'm sorry.
Yeah.
That's a lot.
Top dog simp, okay?
Okay.
I'm curious, Unique. What do you think about when you hear all these numbers being rattled off when it pertains to women? What do you think?
Yeah, Unique. Don't hold back.
I'm trying to ignore it.
I'm triggering Unique. I know I am because I make a look at the camera every now and then. That's why I keep working it.
No, it's just that me, I see it differently. I guess I see it from a different perspective because not all the women in my life are small. Some of them are, but a lot of them are big like me. So, I mean, some of them are big in certain places that people like. But, like my best friend, Mrs. Selfie, that's a part of Three Married Ladies. Me and her, we met, we both was big. We lost weight together. We gained it back together, but we ain't never lose us. Like, to me, it should always be about that person. Fuck the weight. You know what I'm saying? You can help somebody who's unhealthy lose weight. Like, I seen this thing on Facebook of a storyline of this person was like way bigger than me, like huge, like face huge, everything. The person she got with was this big. He helped her become a baddie after they got married. He helped her become more healthy and lose all that weight. So to me, it's about the person. And now he got a baddie for life, because if you with me when I'm this big and then now I'm look good, to most people, like how y'all say, more attractive, and she ain't going nowhere. So I feel like it's more about the person and not about how they look.
He got lucky. He got lucky. Because that hair backfired.
Yeah.
I've seen it where women lose weight and they leave that motherfucker immediately.
Mm-hmm. That happens a lot more.
She's the one who posted, and she was like, "Now you got a baddie for life." So, but anyway, I understand what you're saying.
I can't get to that point.
I think the idea is, though, would you want to risk it? Like, I do agree that her options were probably very slim. Like, I wouldn't tell people that were overweight and trying to date my age, trying to date, they're single. If they asked me for advice, I would probably tell them to try losing weight, because it would just make them more attractive. Like, it takes a lot. Like, I understand the person does matter, but for a lot of men, that initial attraction is very important. Mm-hmm. Very important.
That's what gets my attention.
Yes.
I'm not even gonna notice you.
That's not what I would say to that woman, though. I wouldn't say, like, the first thing would not come out my mouth is like, you know what, you just need to lose weight. The first thing that'll come out my mouth will be like, are you healthy? What kind of medicines are you on? Encourage them to eat better. Encourage them to exercise. But I wouldn't automatically just look at you and be like, well, you just need to lose some weight. And then
I wouldn't say it like that.
Because that person could be a bad person on the inside, even though they big.
I mean, I gotta agree with both of y'all on that. I would never say that to them, because I wouldn't even talk to them. They would never get me. I would not even fucking look at them. I would be like
if you helping somebody, say you're a coach of somebody, if they like super huge, you just gonna just outright be telling them, you know what, you just need to lose weight. I'm gonna be like, listen, are you healthy?
Huh?
What are you thinking, Tag?
I mean, it all depends. If they're young, I'm gonna be like, your fat ass need to go on a diet. You know what I mean?
Oh shit!
Exactly.
And then young people, they be like, and young people, I'm telling you, man, I'm not talking about these bastard cases. Oh, why you say that? The average young person, they're gonna be, well, I don't really eat that. You eating something. Whatever you eating is called something, and you eating a lot of it. So your ass is going to die, right? Because young people, for the most part, especially when they up to the challenge, they're gonna take that in stride. They're not gonna be. See, a lot of it is, so now you're gonna eat the next 1,000 cheeseburgers because I told your fat ass to lose weight. A lot of young people, they don't get down like that. It's people that's older, where, and then their personalities, right? Where they always doing the blame game. It's never them. They didn't gain the weight. McDonald's made them eat it. That type of thing. So a lot of young people though, like when the Blooming Ebony says, one of her girlfriend's son, she be like, girl, lose that fucking weight. They're gonna be all on your ass this summer or next summer. That's truth. Like, that's motivation for a lot of people. But that's what I would do. And if it's one of my guys, I remember coming up, man. Dude was like, man, I'll be trying to, it don't be work. I said, yo, get a better job. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like you get like the thing for people. I'm not tall. I don't dress well. I'm not one of them. I'm just not. They're not gonna be attracted to me because of my education, my height, none of that shit, right? But I'm from the streets, right? I got down in the street. So there was no fucking issue like that, like none. I streamlined that, right? But what I'm saying is, when you're younger, you say what it is to the people you care about that you bump with. And they take that in stride. When you get older and you just meeting these people and all this, like the way Dr. John taught, here people taking depression medicine, man, if they don't have the right personality, because they couldn't understand the spirit of the way that he's giving the knowledge and the information. They're looking to say, that's why I'm depressed, because of what Dr. John said. No, you just met him 10 minutes ago. You've been depressed for a minute. So that's how I look at that. You got to be, now I listen to Neat and she's correct. She might have just met the person or a friend or whatever. They might not been, she don't know her like that, but let it be a cousin, somebody she grew up with. She be like, you need to put them damn ham sandwiches down, girl. Seriously.
I never understand, because for men, it is much harder to change your circumstances than it is for women.
Yep.
Like for women, it's kind of like, okay, be nicer and just lose weight, and that's like everyone is up in arms. For men, it's like get in the gym and get a better job
and grow 10 inches.
and grow, there you go.
grow 10 inches.
It's awful for men.
It's like, as a man, you can't really do much to help you. OMG.
What? Oh,
look who it is.
My sister Keeper, what's up?
What's happening?
Nothing much. It's Ramadan, so I was at the masjid. So I was just texting. I was watching y'all on my way home.
Your makeup looks nice.
I don't have on the makeup.
No, natural beauty, huh?
That means she look nice. That means she looks nice.
I got lip gloss on.
That don't count as makeup.
Don't count as makeup.
Well, your lip gloss is popping. How about that?
Hey.
So did you hear the numbers game? How we're rating women?
And I was like, dang, so I'm not even a 6. Because I got 3 kids. Well, I got 4 kids. So I'm not even a 6. I'm the 2, huh?
I mean, you could be a 5. You could be average if you want. All right.
I'm so happy that I don't let other people tell me that I am.
You're also married. I
swear.
The only rating that matters is your husband's.
No, that's not true. What? The only rating that matters is mine.
Well, I mean, like in the dating space, if you're like asking other people what they thought, the only one that matters is your husband's. But yes,
even when I step into that dating space, my opinion matters the most.
Stop the cap.
That's not cap.
Okay. Let's see. I'm going to ask you a personal question to each of you on the panel. What body type do you all find arousing? I would like you to pick someone that can be searched on the computer so we can see.
I wish I could show you some pictures. You wouldn't even have to search on the computer. I got them right here on my damn phone.
One I can't show though.
I'm a pass on that. Y'all can go ahead. Because I don't do that. Now I feel like I'm talking to a bot on the internet. So I'm a pass on the answer now.
So that one will pass on. It might take a little too long. Danielle, did you hear when we were talking about being bigger is just a social construct? that men liking slimmer women is a social construct. Thoughts?
Yeah, I heard y'all.
Thoughts?
I don't know what men think.
From your observable eye.
You done had partners. You got a whole brother. Okay, well, how many fat girls have your brother dated?
None. Like actually, you know what? I heard him on the phone when we was like growing up, right? I was fat. Well, I felt fat because especially hearing my brother. So he was like, I don't know what the conversation that they was talking about. I don't know how they got on the topic. They was talking about weight and like sizes. And he was like, Danielle, what size you wear? I was like, I'm a 14. He was like, I ain't dating a girl bigger than a 14.
Emotional damage.
So yeah. I was like, I'm fat.
The woman can get big if after we get into a committed relationship, but not during the interview. Like initially, that's just not my thing. I got homeboys, that was their thing. Their thing was big women. They loved them. That was their thing. That was just what it was.
Watch out for the big girls. They got a whole song.
Yeah. So
Lizzo's new show is called Watch Out for the Big Girls.
I just watched it because my friends on there.
They did all they want to. Nature is going to take over in that situation.
But once I care about them, then it's not I mean,
nah,
it can happen.
Clement said, nah, not me.
I'm just saying, I'm not going to be out at the first sign of land.
Listen, I'm not going to be out, but there still needs to be. I need to be physically attracted to her.
Oh, no doubt. I'm with you on that, man.
Like it's hard to.
You can't fake the physical attraction with your woman.
I don't know why y'all talking like females don't have ever been in love with y'all.
Well, yeah, they have to be.
It's not hard explaining another person that y'all got to be physically attracted. We got to be physically attracted to y'all too.
No doubt.
You got to be physically attracted, and you also have to be financially attracted to us.
Yep.
We're just only asking for one.
Look, because when you said that, I was like 4 or 5 other things popped up in my head. That's what I made that look like.
Let me tell you something. Rich niggas is rich, mega rich niggas is the optimal body weight and ain't none of them ugly.
No doubt.
They the optimal body weight and ain't none of them ugly.
Absolutely. They're not the NBA wise.
They the optimal motherfucking body
Y'all
weight.
right.
They
They not the
motherfucking ugly.
They do not look like the NBA wise.
Because if Flavor Flav had 120 fucking girls
No
come
matter
on that
what.
he ain't mega rich. He barely fucking rich. It's normal niggas that ain't nobody that's got more money in the bank than he do. I know 2 engineers that's got way higher net worth than his ass. And that's one ugly motherfucker look like a roach.
The roach.
Like he's ugly. Like completely fucking ugly. Like Martin Lawrence said, when roaches see Flav, they be like, Daddy. And these motherfuckers was fine. And they kissed this nigga too. I'm like, you ever looked at somebody so ugly, just they breath gotta stink. I just know it stinks. It's much smell bad.
We are soft.
He is
so
on that
far
level.
from your topic. We are so far from your topic.
Right, this is a topic. No. I actually, this is a pretty interesting one.
Mm-hmm.
This whole idea behind weight.
What is that?
You know what that is? Huh?
That's you?
Wake
up.
That's the alarm clock after she gained weight. We getting up at 4 o'clock in the fucking morning headed to the Y. Today we will be working on swimming. From 4 until 5.
So at least you would help her out
from
before
5
you leave.
until 6. Well, that's because she probably done got big because I've been feeding the hell out of her. and shit like that. You know what I'm saying? She done gave me some babies and shit, so it's my fault. So now I gotta fix it. And I probably gained the weight with her.
This is good right here. According to what's being shown, if women also have to be financially and physically attracted to men, can you please explain how do the people you call Pookie and Ray Ray seem to get women?
Because they built and they bad boys. They built good, they fight hard, and they bad boys, and they don't give no fuck what nobody think, and that shit makes them sexy. Because they're not a sheep. They don't follow the normal crowd. They fucking just step out on their own. And Pookie and Ray Ray be having that check. Now, how they get that check is different. It's unorthodox, but they got that check. They got money.
Dangerous.
Yeah.
Good girls love good boys.
Yeah, Pookie and Ray Ray known to be very financially stable. Exactly. But Pookie and Ray Ray also known to have hands, be built nice, and probably did a couple of years, 2, 3, 4, 5, 12.
Who's counting you, right?
15. And Pookie and Ray Ray ain't trying to hear shit. And you always feel safe with certain Pookie and Ray Ray.
This person must love typing, because instead of just clicking the button and coming up here, they just doing paragraphs after paragraphs.
English is not their first language.
Yeah, but according to our previous conversation, I'm trying to understand transmitters and how they work. How can someone be tricked into being attracted to something else? That's why I ask these questions.
Because you got to understand, how many women have you seen that I'm not attracted to? I mean, that's not attracted to Pookie and Ray Ray on a physical level. How many men have not been attracted to Big Booty Keisha on a physical level? Big Booty Keisha gonna get the play.
Oh my God.
And it's women that's attracted to Pookie and Ray Ray, but they won't act on it because they know Pookie and Ray, because it's all about motivation, honey. It's all about motivation. What is really motivating you? What is really driving this internal? So like, if you motivated by money, you're going to be attracted. You don't give a fuck. You don't care, because the money factor is more attractive than the physical. See, it's not that cut and dry. It's not that simple of a thing. You know, I love the questions. I mean,
it's a good question. Spooky and Ray Ray Keisha, part of nature or nurture? Which one do you react off when dealing with them? Huh?
It's a part of both. It's a part of both. It's a part of both. Because Pookie and Ray Ray, from a physical structure, they look like those are the most optimal men to have babies with, because fit translates into better genetics, just like Hernandez said earlier. Fit translates to better genetics. A woman is more likely going to be attracted to a fit man with a certain jawline than a man who looks like a couch potato. He doesn't look like he can protect her. She's not going to feel secure with her. Now, if this nigga got the check, he's got plenty of money, she may or may not give him a pass.
She'll take karate lessons herself, right?
Right. But with Big Booty Keisha, shit, that's going to be a part of nature and nurture. If society is saying Big Booty Keisha is the way to go, and you're going to get the most bragging rights with your homeboys, then hell, Big Booty Keisha it is. And then you might be attracted to women with big asses. Me, I'm not. Depends on what Big Booty Keisha ass look like. Because there comes the fact, the way they're
not attractive.
Nice round asses, and then there's just a fat ass. Like, and I don't mean that in a positive way. I mean literally, it's just fat. Like, it's no. I need just a little slight jiggle when she ain't got no panties on when she walking. It just little, the little
wiggle.
Little wiggle. Just a little wiggle. Nice, wiggle. Round, not all this shit here. Talking about some, my waist this big, damn ass out here. I don't like that shit. It's like you stink.
Ladies and gentlemen,
don't you do it.
Am might actually be the end of the show.
CKQ ready to get some rest, man.
Yeah, my eyes are barely holding it together. But we'll do one last one. If it's all about motivation, what would motivate someone to be attracted to the same sex? Is it because of neurotransmitters, or is it because, circling back to what we're talking about, or is it because of something else I'm trying to understand?
It could be because of a number of things. It could be because you had an overbearing daddy as a little girl who wanted a boy. He treated you just like a boy. You could have been born with physical characteristics that made you ugly. It's a reason that dyke women are ugly. You know, as a woman, they ugly. But as a boy, they okay. They not as ugly as they would be if they was a fucking girl. If they live like a girl, they would be considered a 1. But as a boy, they are 3.5. And they make sure they get good jobs. You ain't never noticed that? You ain't never noticed how lesbian couples are not, both of them not pretty. One is fucking ugly, but handsome as a boy. I've
seen dyke women, and I don't even like that word because to them it's offensive.
Yeah.
But I see butch. I use that word. I've seen butch gay women that look like good as a man and bad as a woman. And I've seen them also be super fine as a woman.
Yep. And the ones that super
fine
fine
as a man.
And
I've seen fine as a man.
And I've seen some that I've seen those descriptions. They're not a lot of them, but I have seen some.
So in my high school class, it's about 4 girls. And they are so cute.
And how many of them had sex with men?
All of them.
The 4 women that I'm talking about, no, they're gay. They're the women that we're talking about.
Oh.
They turned into the boy of the relationship. But as kids, they were some fine young ladies. They still fine now. I know that they girls, so when I look at them, I still see them as what they were, because it's not like they put on like beards or nothing. But you know how they dress and carry themselves now. They carry themselves like the boy, like they try to be the butch. But
yeah,
no, they still fine. But no, they
I know what you're talking about, because them the ones
I was amazed that they just popped out. So many of the people that I graduated with became that, or was that. I don't know, but yeah.
Them would be the ones I would have sex with when I used to be wild in the streets.
What?
Oh yeah, what you thought gay was a real thing? Yeah, whatever. It's all about I'm telling you that. Yeah. When I was wilding in the streets, threesomes was easier to get if you would just go to a gay club and wait your time out. And they will eventually make it around there when they don't see you talking to no men. And they'll come up to you, straight or gay? Straight. Me and my girlfriend was just talking. So you want to remove the dildo tonight? That's what you're saying. You want to feel the hot meat? Okay, bet, I got you. I can help you with that.
Killing me.
You gotta do her too.
Killing me.
The hot meat.
They want the hot meat, bro.
Fresh off the stove.
We're gonna have to make some of those toys that heat up and go on Shark Tank.
I'm just telling you, there is rules to the shit, bro. Like if you can, with the stud, you gotta make her feel inclusive, meaning you gotta include her in the conversation. Don't be disrespectful. You gotta talk to both of them equally, right? But if throughout the night, if you play your cards right, that stud will back the fuck off in the presence of a man. She will back the fuck off, especially if her girlfriend, that's what her girlfriend wants. You understand? And now she finna feel some kind of way. So when you have to please both of them equally, and you got to respect what she like and what she don't like. And the stud is not going to be quick to try to, engage in the sexual part. She's going to be all about the oral. And that might be all you get that time. Next time, she go a little bit further because she got to build up her trust. Then when you get cool with them, it is what it is. The only rule to it is she don't want the lesbian, which is the girl. She don't want her going and seeing you by herself. You understand?
Makes sense.
But then when you get real cool with them, y'all go on dates like that. Like it be all 3 of y'all, and you have equal access to both. So you mean to tell me this is cut and dry? Get the fuck out of here. No, sir. Oh, well, they just bisexual. Get the fuck out of here. No, it's whatever is motivating them internally at that time. I was successful was because I could get in touch with a softer side of me. I didn't act the same way I did with girls who were completely heterosexual. They want the manly man all the time. Nah, when you dealing with this shit, you gotta fucking be soft on occasion, yield to the stud every now and then to get what the fuck it is you want. You gotta learn how to be a chameleon and read their body language, read her expressions, and follow suit so you can get the fucking prize. And then you find out it's cool ass chicks. And they shit don't last long. Most of the time they date for like 6 months and they on to a new girl anyway.
Absolutely.
That shit ain't real, bro. It's just not fucking real. It's just not. Those feelings and emotions are strictly fucking predicated on how they were how they were either recruited or traumatized into it. Period. If a man raped you as a little girl, you think you're gonna like men growing up? Fuck no. You don't want shit to do with a fucking man.
You gotta get that girl some therapy.
Right.
They ain't had no therapy.
If they in denial, and at that time, I ain't no shit about no fucking therapy. I just knew that I was young, I was attractive, and I wanted to see just how fucking bad this lip game, this goddamn mouthpiece was. And I found out. I said, shit, if I can have sex with two damn so-called lesbians, I'll be the man. And I was the man. Did on multiple occasions. I don't believe in it. I'm just telling you. Now that I know what I know about psychology, that all made fucking sense. It's not uncommon for you to see a so-called bisexual girl. When she mad at a fucking woman, she go to a man. When she mad at a fucking man, she go back to women. But if you that dude who just calm the fuck down and you get in touch with your softer side, she'll fucking receive you. She will receive you and y'all can have a regular relationship, especially if you start dispelling a lot of the myths that are in her head, that you're going to be physically abusive. Did you know that lesbian women get more abused than heterosexual women? That studs are more likely to jump on the fucking girl than a fucking heterosexual man.
Rates of, out of relationships, they have the highest rates of
domestic violence.
Domestic violence.
Yeah. Hell yeah, they do. Because they see each other as equals. She a girl, I'm a girl, what's wrong with it? Nah, nigga, you playing the man role. You can't do that shit. Fuck that. And they get mad about the same shit. Then jealousy is almost possessiveness, and jealousy is higher because you're dealing with a person who has a low self-esteem, insecure, depressed. What the fuck you expect? How you think that's gonna be a healthy relationship compared to a man? Get the fuck out of here. Well, she's a woman and she knows my body more. No, you're an idiot if you believe that. That's not true. That's not true, nigga. We spend the first 15 years of our fucking life learning about y'all ass when it comes to y'all body. A lot of men know their women period times than they do. Like, yeah, let me go. What you did? I went and got you some tampons, baby. You only had one in the box and you about to start in about 3 days. God damn.
About 35 seconds.
Yeah, I was cramping. Yeah, I already got them, though. I already got them. Boo, you know I'm going to take care of you for that. Because you pay attention. We pay attention to y'all. They feel like they get taken for granted.
Do y'all teach each other that or something? Like soon as y'all start having sex, do y'all teach each other like watch her period? Is that
I just what I told my homeboys, you better watch that shit. That's how you get a baby put on your ass.
That is like that is hilarious.
That's very accurate. When you live with them, you get it down to a science. Like you know. When you cool with them, you look at their face and shit. Some girls get bumps when they period about to come on.
Yeah.
They get that one little big ass bump, right? Like somewhere up in here. Not all girls though, just some.
A good majority actually. Like they get acne during that time. But you know what time it is.
Snack time.
Ladies and gentlemen, it has been a fantastic night. Great conversation, great questions. Snuggles, you've been great down there in the
awesome.
chat.
Snuggles been damn awesome, man. Snuggles, what is your language? What is your first language? You never said. Did she ever say?
No.
I think English is her first language. I think she was saying that she doesn't speak feelings. That's not
Oh, English.
Yeah.
I was about to say she write really good in English.
Oh, information man. Shout out to you, bro. You just pulled up as I'm about to close out the panel. But like we do it, let's close out the panel usual style. Chris, give a shout out.
Hi everyone. Sorry I was so quiet this video. I really enjoyed listening and tuning into this. I hope that you guys did too. And if you did, hit that subscribe button for CKQ Podcast. You can find me on YouTube at The Blooming Ebony and also on Instagram at The Blooming Ebony. And yeah, happy blooming and have a good night.
We got the doctor.
What's up, everybody? You know how to get in touch with me, man. Protect your kids. Stop letting them get inoculated by this madness, this LGBTQ nonsense, man. Kids are not born gay. This shit is affecting the youth now more than ever because of they have access to this information. But when you speak out against it, they want to hush mouth you. So just keep that in mind. Take that with you.
Unique.
Hi, you can find me on my podcast on YouTube every other Sunday. It's Married Ladies Opinions Podcast. Also on Instagram, Twitter, and Twitch. This Thursday, I won't be having a show on our Instagram page, but I'm having surgery, Clement. So I'm having surgery, so I can't have the show. But the Thursday after that, check out CJ, the high value nurse, will be on Married Ladies Opinions Instagram, April 14th. All right, check it out. Thank you, and subscribe to CKQ.
Williams.
Yeah, I'm gonna say thank you for having me on your platform tonight, CKQ. You guys come over here and subscribe to his channel, his platform. The shows are great. You also heard the science from the doctor himself tonight. So if you've been trying to qualify all of that rhetoric, he gave it to you. Let's just learn from that and move forward. And you don't really have to find me, but if you do look for me, it's just Talk Space Williams at YouTube, where you might find anything, especially how to get that money day trading. And if you are a day trader or a swing trader and you didn't get none of that Twitter money in the last 96 hours, 72 hours, I don't know what you're doing. Your eyes must have been just closed. That's it.
And we're gonna close it off with Danielle.
Hi. I'm sorry I was late, but I'm fasting until 8 o'clock and then I'm at the masjid, but I'm happy to see you guys because I miss you. And you can find me on Instagram at Fly Nurse Mom Wife, or here on Instagram on the CKQ podcast, because this is where I be at with my peoples.
That's it?
No. Like and subscribe. Not only to this one, but to Talk. But to Talk. Because Talk was telling the truth. You definitely can learn with him, like, easily. So if you want to know, go check him out too. That. No, because it's the truth.
I do.
Ladies and gentlemen, it has been an amazing night of conversation. If you haven't already, hit that like and subscribe button for more content like this. We go live once a week at Tuesday, 8:30 p.m. Eastern. You can also find some of us hopping in on the Three Married Ladies on IG. That's Neek at Night on IG. Tack Williams does have his live shows. I'm not too sure when you do have your live shows.
All the time.
All the time. But tune into him. Learn a lot about stocks, day trading. Chris, the Blooming Ebony, she's starting up her channel recently. She has her panels, talks a lot about femininity and the entire journey behind that. So there's a lot of people on this platform that will give you a lot of different information on their platforms. Definitely check everyone out. But until then, it has been fun, it's been real, and it's been real fun. And until then, good night.
If we're doing everything right, I think we should be vetting our wives, like go to their parents, go to their fathers.
They know they shouldn't have let me start speaking my mind in the booth, start speaking the truth. Might get shot.
I think you're just saying, okay, actions have consequences, and I'm not going to support this person's actions. Like, you don't have to cancel them and say, like, I hate you.
Innocent lives have to die.
But the whole thing is men are I also. That man was on the other side doing the exact same thing, and his decision with his eyes was to walk away.
Inside your soul.
Now we can paint the perfect picture without belittling each other, because under God's system,
we are equipped to handle that responsibility, but not every man is fit to handle that responsibility.
I done seen Flint, Michigan,
and it's just being
cities. They pissing in project buildings that got a roof that leaks, resulting in missing ceilings. Hard to sleep. Children going to schools dealing issues deep.
So I think society does make it more difficult for short men, but I don't think that it's impossible that they could find someone.
And expecting you to do your part. It ain't hard to see they trying to keep black in the back, just like Rosa Parks. Cops shooting blacks as if they get a token from God. School rob you with needed resources.
Is the weaker vessel and the more vulnerable.
Absolutely, 100%.
You don't look at the man like, oh, poor son, you were violated. No, you like, right.
And nobody.
They shift my stick like some cars. And when you're lonely in your darkest thoughts, come, I know it's hard, but God shines his light on all I play their part. And it's the start.
Put myself in a situation where I can only rely on a man. Like if I'm married and being a stay-at-home mom, I need to have a backup in case anything happens. I can't only rely on him. You know what I'm saying?
A flower will grow once you plant the seed inside your soul.
Poet, and the best part of me shows it. Here to speak the message of what is known, but not what it takes to expose it. Listen closer as I take you on a mental path. See divisions, the math, hoping we clash on lower levels just like in the past. Before we begin to see spared lives, keep in mind the first